All right, we got a great show for you guys this week. Really enjoyed our chat with Red Gerard and Sean Fitzsimons, a fantastic duo. Some great moments. Red Gerard's dad called in, Conrad, and completely roasted Red. That was one of my favorites. We also talked about his new switch over to Arbor snowboards, which is a big move for Red. Then we had Sean Fitzsimons talking about landing on his back and breaking boards and telling all kinds of hilarious stories. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. And I want to say huge thank you to our sponsors, Woodward, Bubs, Autumn, Mammoth, Oakley, Yeti, CAPiTA, Union, Pub Beer, Insta360, Turtlebox, Kodiak Cakes, and Nitro. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you guys. Couldn't do the show without you, as well as our Patreon members. And lastly, it's the holidays. And if you're looking for that perfect gift, don't forget to get some Run Through a Wall smelling salts. You're at the holiday party, your drunk uncle, it's 3 sheets to the wind. Get him a Run Through a Wall smelling salt. Boom, he's ready to go. He's back in the game. But I will shut up and let's get into the Red Gerard, Sean Fitzsimons episode. Here we go.
You are listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lips. Back attack, dude.
Bon Voyage!
Hey, yo, homies. Good.
Slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, welcome back to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts. Now in production today, we got Silk D. What's happening, Silk?
What up? Happy to be here.
We're happy that you're here as well. Also in studio, we got Sean Fitzsimons, friend of the show. What's happening, Sean?
Cruising. Yeah, doing good.
Happy that you're here. And we got Redmond, Reggie Gerard. How we doing?
Doing good. Yeah, happy to be back in the original studio. I like this over here a little bit better.
This is where we did our show.
Yeah, but then we did like the
Group chat.
group chat over at the other one.
Cool.
Felt a little too corporate over there.
It's too corporate. We're back to the roots. Now, I think we should start off with what you're doing out in Utah. Reggie, what are the boys up to the past few days?
We're just, me and Sean are both part of the U.S. Olympic team, so we've been up in Park City just kind of hitting the gym. He's been hitting the gym a little bit more than I have, and then they also have one of those airbags up in Park City now at the UOP, and we've been kind of just testing it out, hitting the bag a little bit, cruising.
What are we talking? Let's talk a bag session. I know you got to be chucking. You going backy right out of the gate, Sean?
I usually open with a double backy. I don't know why. It's kind of something I just started doing, and then every day, usually just double backy.
So you roll through. What do you warm up? You do a warm up trick and then you just start chucking?
Honestly, I just kind of go right to chucking, and then in the middle or at the end of it, I kind of like start to have some more fun. But usually, like go there with a trick in mind or something you want to do. And for me, I'm always like, let's get it over with, more, because I feel like all your fundamentals of like when you try it on snow, you're like, oh, let's warm up to this. You're like, you know what, pretty soft landing. Let's just try to go do it. But it's been more of a golf trip, to be honest.
Yes, it has.
Than a bag trip.
Yes. Yeah. I have a couple more questions though before we move on to golf for a second. How do you get to the top? Is there a rope tow or do you hike up?
Yeah, you got to hike like a quarter of it, and then you get on a rope tow that brings you to the top.
Okay.
But it's like plastic snow.
It's kind of sketchy. It's like
it's really sketchy, dude. It almost feels like you're gonna hurt your knee or something.
Oh, it's
because it's so grabby on the rope toe that you're doing like this weird lean back, like throwing your front foot so far forward.
It's like the high cascade rope toes, so it's like cutting off your leg circulation, but then also it's the same snow flex over 6 years, so it's just like grabbing.
You're essentially going up plywood.
Yeah, you
honestly, I'm not kidding.
The whole time you're like thinking about your base. There's like rocks below the snow flex, and you're like, yeah, this board's
because it's like it's mini strips like this, spaced out between a foot between each other, but they've all been flattened. So you're just kind of like.
So we're also talking. This will come out in a while, but it's October right now. It's pretty warm. What are we wearing for attire on the bag? Are we going like gym shorts? I heard some people wear wetsuits. I'm just so curious.
Wetsuit will lead to a yeast infection, I think. I'm just saying. No, I run board shorts and a long sleeve.
Okay.
Red is full backcountry Gore-Tex setup.
Avalanche beacon on.
Ready to go.
Well, dude, if you're gonna be
Shovel
trying new
pro.
tricks, you want to have everything that you're gonna be doing in real life. So
Brady always practices with his helmet on, so that
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
Even when he's just running, routes in the
I
back.
can't wait to see you do a quad cork in a bathing suit. Fucking nerd.
I think our listeners are going to hate this, but we should probably bring up golf yesterday. Maybe Red, we should talk about Sean on the range. Maybe let's kick it off with that performance.
Yeah, I mean, everyone deals with it. People deal with it constantly, I think, but just a case of the hosel. It's the word. It's a word that you really hate to bring around on the golf course, but everyone gets it. And yeah, Sean had it on the driving range, which usually we're pretty good about not going to the driving range and just going right to it. And I think you might be one of those players. It seems like, but it was bad. It was 50 balls. Yeah. What'd you say? 10, 15 of them good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a range guy. I played the round before on a par 3 course, and I straight up hoseled every single ball, where you're just distraught. You don't even know what's happening.
Just so we're clear here, it's at the bottom of the shaft where the club face meets the shaft, and it makes your ball go immediately to the right and low, and it's ugly as hell.
It's the worst thing ever.
It's so bad looking.
So I went on the range and just hosling balls, consistently hosling.
Yeah.
He was a disaster.
Yeah.
He was an absolute trainer.
Absolute
I was thinking,
disaster.
because we're gambling, I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't got to worry about Sean here. Red's looking pretty lights out. And then Sean gets on the course. What happened?
He went crazy. It was actually pretty I couldn't believe it, really. It's he was so stressed out. We drove down from Park City, Mountaindale. He's so nervous to go golfing. The whole reason why we got there early is so he could try to fix his hosel situation. And he's nothing's getting fixed about it, and then we get on the course and I don't know what happened. It must have been the money that we started betting on.
Yeah.
This can't happen right now.
Dude, I'm not a range guy.
He's just not a range
Game
guy.
time.
Yep. And then I think maybe it would be fun to talk about the last 3 holes. That got exciting.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to take this one?
Sure. We had these guys behind us. This twosome. We were a threesome. And they kept coming up and they were like, you guys want to battle us? 2v3 best ball. And we kind of had our own game going, so we weren't trying to. And then at the end there, because I was kind of winning all of it.
I'd say you were winning by a mile.
He was
This is
dominating.
the crazy part. I don't want to jump in the middle of this story. But this is the crazy part about Sean's golf game. And I find with a lot of golfers, I don't really have any good hand-eye. So I feel like I've been practicing golf for so long. And I'm consistently around that 12, 15 handicap. Really have a hard time getting out of there. And then you got someone like Sean, you played lacrosse growing up, right? It's anyone or hockey or any of those hand-eye sports, they come to it and they just can pick it up so quick. And I guess I jumped in because I'm jealous as hell. I don't know. It's so sick. You're yeah, it's dope.
The true greats on a snowboard are generally horrendous at conventional sports. If you've
Ball
ever seen
sports.
Nils throw a basketball, it is a disaster. Yeah. I hate to say it, Sage, not a good looking jump shot. It's a basketball. It's basic hand-eye. But anyway, continue with the story.
Yes.
No, so anyways, and then finally the last 3 holes, we do play them. And got our first hole when we played them. We're doing best ball, so we all keep our own balls, but we take the best score, and then we're playing stroke play through that. So let's just say Garandes hits a bogey on the first hole. That's our best ball. And then let's say Red hits a birdie on the hole after that, and then one of us pars. You combine all those versus their best ball as well. So it's not a scramble, but they put up. They wanted to do 100, but we ended up playing 50, and we go double bogey on the first one. I think Grandy's got the double bogey on the first one, and we're kind of in the hole, but luckily they bogeyed as well. And then I don't know what happened to Red. He just turned it on. And he was not playing good all day. Things were going OB all over the place, and then goes back-to-back birdies to seal it.
15
huge
to
putts.
30-foot putts.
Huge. The last putt, or that was for par, but a huge par. It was 30-foot putt.
I thought those guys were gaming us too, honestly. I was watched their swing when we started the bet. And I'm like, oh, dude, these guys are throttling balls. It was nice.
And it seemed like they were
Nice.
playing smart, too.
Yeah, it also seemed like they had a few few beverages in them too. Is kind of those guys were getting after it.
Which was making me nervous, you know, it kind of loosens
It
up
helps.
the swing, your head gets
What
out
would
of
you
there.
say? What do you think your sweet number is on the course?
My sweet number is probably like 4 to 5. I can't show up 4 to 5 in.
No.
But if you're drinking throughout the round, I feel like 4 to 5.
Yeah.
6, I maybe keep holding on. 7 later.
Yeah,
Like it's
there's a point. I mean, there's a point, you know, where it's like sweet spot. Oh no, I'm done. I'm not coming back from this.
Yeah. 3 to actually, I'd say 3 to 5.
Yeah, I like keeping it on the smaller side. It's kind of nice for a little
Right.
bit. Yeah.
Little John Daly's always John Daly kickstart and then kind of go like a few beers after that,
Yeah.
and sort of just try to keep that.
You ever think
swing
about when you're
loop
playing
going.
like a lights out round and you're like, you've had like 3 beers, 4 beers or something, and then you're like, I wonder if the guys on the tours ever dabble around with having 3 beers. No way. There's no way in heck.
John Daly's definitely putting a few back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Like 6 a.m. round, you're like 5 beers in. That's good.
Yeah.
It's ideal. Larry, let's keep it moving here. Because I was thinking about this. Red, you did the show. The last time we did a full blown show, it was 4 years ago, basically, and you've been on more recently. But you guys were both at the COVID Olympics,
Yeah.
and I would love to talk about that. It's an interesting situation. Maybe we could talk about the eardrum situation, Sean, or is that too early?
Yeah, we could talk about the eardrum situation. We were in China for what? How
Let's
long
get
were
some
they-
build up though. Like that whole Olympics was. It's,
Well, yeah.
it's a bummer of Olympics a little bit. It's obviously awesome to make an Olympic team. Yeah, I was lucky enough to go to the 2018 Olympics, and it was a great experience. And then going back to Beijing, you really wanted to do that, but with some experience, you know. And it was a completely new event. Like it was really hard. It was probably the most stressful times, hopefully, I'll have in life. But you know, it's just COVID test after COVID test, worrying about who you're going to see, close contacts, this and that. Like every day, you know, you're worrying about if you're going to get COVID or whatever. And we were doing tests every day during that 21 period. It was so funny. We like brought things of Listerine with us because we read before we go. They were doing throat swabs. So we brought some like Listerine, and right before we'd hit it, we'd all be like our household, me, Haley, Sean, and my brother. We'd be sitting right outside the COVID test, just passing around a thing of Listerine, gargling it, and then running in there, getting it swabbed. And like sometimes the swab would come back out like blue at times. You know, you're like, there's no way I'm getting COVID now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, yeah, now we can.
No, it was like full lockdown. Like you're just with your team, which was sick. Also, there was like
cool.
a part of that was cool because you like are just hanging with your buddies and you're like, this is what it is, you know? It would have been fun to do a bit more exploring and like sort of, I don't know, hang out with other teams and stuff like that. But because of COVID, we were like very strictly locked down, masks outside, the whole deal. I mean, you should have seen Red's hands. They looked like they were dead. He was always just running hand sanitizer.
I'm kind of like a
dry and
germaphobe, I
cracking.
guess, when it comes down to it. Now that it's being talked about, but
anyways, we were there. We were there doing that for 20. We were there for 25 days because we were like one of the first events with slope, and then we were like closer to one of the last events with big air. So there was like this massive lag time. So we were there forever. And anyways, we're finally going home.
Well, should we talk about before we get into that? Let's just talk about the slope contest. How'd it go for you, Sean?
It went good. Like I made it into finals, put down what I wanted to in qualies. Was really excited about that run actually. And then unfortunately, before finals, kind of focused my ankle on a switchback 16 during practice, and sort of tried to fight through that, and wasn't able to put one down in finals. But I mean, I was psyched on how that went. Honestly, just a bum to get injured, but psyched on how that went.
And then Red, I mean, we haven't talked about this, and obviously huge respect to Max Burrow, like put down a heater of a run, and you know, fucking showed up, rode really well. But I'd say in some senses the judges would be at fault for probably giving a score undeserving to a particular run, however that unfolded. And you came into the contest as a residing gold medalist, and then kind of, I would say that you got gypped out of a third place medal. But how was that experience for you putting down a run, Pyeongchang?
yeah, I was hyped. Yeah. I mean, like you said, I was definitely going into that Olympics feeling 100 million times better than I did going into 2018. That's for sure. I kind of felt like I did have it was a good Olympics because it felt like no one really had a run, or no rider had a run that was like an immediate win if you won it. It was a really good contest, and I felt like I had one of those runs that was definitely going to be up there. And yeah, I mean, I was able to go there and land it. I landed it first try out of 3 runs, which is always kind of interesting with judging and all that, because then more runs end up getting landed and all this. So at the end of the day, I ended up landing the run I wanted, and I was happy with that. No disrespect to the podium here for sure. Definitely no disrespect to Max Perot too. I feel like he honestly got the shit end of that stick. He went there, did his run, had no part in the score at all, and ends up getting, I would say, quite a bit of hate for it. And that's the last thing you want to do. I mean, whatever, he probably made some great money, and also was very happy to take home a gold. But at the end of the day, you want to win the gold, and you want to have people hyped that you won it. And so that was probably a little unfortunate for him. But yeah, I mean, that's just part of. It's unfortunate with snowboarding. It's a judging sport that we end up doing, and a lot of the time, if not all the time, there's going to be a rider in that field that's going to be bummed on the judging, and that just felt like one that was pretty bad. Just judges didn't have the right angles of the jumps. There's always some sort of excuses, but I mean, yeah, I was super bummed at the moment, because I really did feel like I had a run to be up there on that podium. And it was an interesting podium because when you look at it wholly, or like, at the whole thing, it was it's just spotty all over the place, but you can't get too bummed because you're like, I wouldn't have done anything different,
Yep.
So you just take what you did and you run away with it. So
You did everything you can do. You landed your run.
yeah.
The rest was out of your hands.
Yeah, and that's like when I was a kid, that's all I used to say, and it got me through everything. I would never be bummed on results I get, but then, you start doing better at contests, and then you start having an expectation for yourself, and then that just doesn't start to work anymore. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's like you came there, you did what you wanted to do, you landed a run, everything's out of your control after that.
Okay, so you guys do your slopestyle contest. It goes as well as it can for the boys. And where do we have any debauchery? Actually, we have a Patreon question, Silk, in regards to this.
We got a question from Andrew Cruz. Would love to hear some unheard stories of the Olympic athlete village.
Well, here you go.
Get this.
So it was kind of like one of those nights where, so we're all leaving. We were like leaving at like 3 a.m, I think, to go to the Beijing airport. Like pretty much all the slopestyle riders.
Yeah, like a good, I'd say like 70% of, I think there was one more event left, and it was like maybe even ski big air or something. So it's a good group of the U.S. team flying out that night.
Well, and it's U.S. team, but it's also like all the Austrian homies, all the Norwegians, like the entire boarding community that was there doing big air and slopestyle are leaving that night, and there's these shuttles at like 3 a.m.
But and it's interesting too because this whole Olympic experience was basically like the healthiest one you could have. It was a dry campus.
Yeah.
Essentially, there was no, like
COVID
2018, we could go to the U.S. team house, and all these different companies had houses, and you could go have a beverage with your parents or do whatever you want, and there's split time. But in China, it was just us, and there's dry campus except for right after slopestyle and right after big air. So
Yeah,
you can finish up here.
No, so then it's like now everyone's just kind of been pent up and want to let loose, and they're like, "This is our last night here. Let's go." And then we go to the rec room in the village, and it is like all of the teams. Like Anna Gasser's there with her Olympic medal swinging around. Like everyone's there. It's like a giant slopestyle big air party at this point. We're getting on these shuttles, and so we like go pretty hard there, and it's kind of one of those nights. I don't know if the viewers can relate, but it's one of those nights where you're like, there's a limited amount of booze here, I guess. And you're kind of trying to have a blowout where so now you're like hunting it, and you're kind of
You got your stockpile.
You're getting what you can. You're like, oh, this might be it, So then you're always like seeking it out. So the next thing you know, you're like, maybe you've had a couple at this point, because that's kind of the mentality.
You might have.
And it can get you that mentality. And so, anyways, we get on these buses, and I think it's probably just the U.S. team on this bus, right?
Yeah, it was just us. Really.
Just the whole U.S. team on this bus, and me and Red are sitting next to each other, and I don't really even know what we're talking about when it's going back and forth. We're just like kind of bantering, shooting the shit, and
Probably talking of back 540s are cooler or something.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it doesn't even
honestly,
matter at this point.
We're trying to argue which trick is harder, what's cooler, what grab is more difficult with whatever, and how things go. You know how snowboarders end up.
80% of our conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean's
When you get to that point in the night, it's what happens. And
fighting a fight.
and I think it got to, and I go, dude, slap me. You won't. And he's like, dude, I'm not gonna slap you. And I'm like, dude, slap me. You won't. Do it. And he's like, what? Oh, all right, dude, I'll slap you. You want to get slapped? I'll slap you. And then so he slaps me, and
Full blown.
like a big boy. And it cups my left eardrum, and it just goes. And I was like on the bus, ow. And then we had to fly all the way from China back home, dude. I have like
Layover in
dude, I
Japan.
have so many legs too because I'm not going back to San Diego with you guys. I went China to Tokyo to San Fran to Portland.
No, Tokyo to LA,
No,
San Fran,
yeah, that's what
Portland.
I did. Yeah, that's 4 legs
Hopping around with a blown eardrum.
and I'm just like, God, just flying with this blown eardrum. And
There's a couple of notes here that Malachi wanted to bring up. Somebody getting yelled at by TSA potentially, and maybe a forgotten bag, something like that. Those are a couple of footnotes I had.
Oh, we got great videos
All right.
of all this.
yeah, I might have been overserved.
We were all over.
I might have been overserved. That could have happened.
Such a typical Kai
could have
ass shit
happened.
right
Yeah,
here.
this is some
brings
Kai
us
shit.
up, something chops you right at the knees. That's fucked up, brother.
No, I might
So
have.
you were overserved, not your fault. Not your fault.
I might have left a couple bags in the airport and then been called back from security.
Kai gets put on the duty of like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like at this point I'm like, oh man, I'm wasted for sure, and I'm just like, all right, Haley, it's me and you. Let's make it through this airport.
It's a
Kai's with
free-for-all.
Sean.
It's a free for all in that airport, dude.
It's crazy. There was like, it really did feel like you were in like a ghost town of an airport. Beijing airport too.
No one there.
No one's
During
there.
COVID.
Yeah, it's like,
It is.
and of course we get there. Our flight's at like 6 a.m. We get there at like 2:33. So like none of the baggage is open at all, and then we're just like kind of sleeping on our board.
They're
bags
open
and
because
stuff.
of us, and we have like our own flight to get us to Tokyo, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally no one but us, and it's mayhem. I mean, one of the girls on our team left her phone on the bus. It is wandering around the airport, sobbing, "Where's my phone? We don't know where your phone is. How can I get my phone back? I don't know. No one knows. No one knows how we're gonna get your phone. It's on a bus.
Also,
it's on
everyone
a bus.
at
It's
this
heading
point-
back to Olympic Village.
Everyone at
It's
this
gone.
point is so ready to get the heck out of Beijing. Like
Yeah.
we're like 21 days here. We're all out. Your phone's gone. Like your phone is just so far from being found at this point.
Yeah.
But then we ended up like waiting there. We get our bags checked in, and
Dude, also recognize this. We each have 5 bags because they like outfit you, and they give you on top of the 2 bags that you bring, like your board bag and then your clothes bag, they give you 3 more bags full of Olympic gear. So we're talking about an insane amount of bags. All of us, 5 bags each.
they all look the same too. So you got, everyone's. It's like the worst thing. You're like running around the airport checking bag tags. Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
this is too much.
5 layovers on the way
But
home.
yeah, anyways,
5
I mean,
bags.
yeah, luckily Kai was there. He helped me a lot, which was good. But yeah, there was a couple bags that wouldn't have made it without Kai, and then there was one bag that wouldn't have made it without me going back for it. Because I heard it on the loudspeaker, and they were like, anyways, it got checked. We made it.
It's
But
been
that
done.
was a long travel day with a blown out eardrum, for sure.
I remember he like gets back to like Hood River, and maybe haven't talked in like 2 days or something. And I like call him, and he's like, "I'm going to the doctor's office." I'm like, "What are you going to the doctor's office for?" He's like, "Dude, you blew my eardrum out. My eardrum is blown out." And I'm like,
I also, dude, I had another. My right one was already blown out from. Anyway, this water thing we did? It was like it was a rapid that you go really deep into the water. I went down too quick and it popped, and then it just refused to heal. So now I had like a blown out eardrum for about a year, my right one, and then it overlapped. So then I had for like a solid.
It was honestly,
dude, for a solid like 3-4 months, I had 2 blown out.
traveling
eardrums.
with this guy though before was so awesome. He'd be like going into the shower, we're like rooming, and we're like he'd be like going into the shower and he grabs his earplugs. I'm like, what are you grabbing earplugs for to go in the shower? My eardrum, man, is blown out. I can't get any water in there.
Yeah, couldn't get water. I was gonna get it surgery on it to get it fixed because it wasn't healing. And then I remember the surgery sounded real scary. And then and I would have to like bail on this Austria trip that I had lined up and then so I was like, it's all good. I'm just gonna wait it out. And then I waited out, and then probably about 6 months later I went and got it checked out again. And it healed up.
Magically.
Love that. Love that you blew his eardrum out, Red. That's fantastic.
I felt like a really big asshole for a while, and especially like mind this is during it's like it's not like I'm any more sober than this guy on this bus. I'm probably more drunk. I'm slapping my homie. So yeah, I felt bad.
That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing at that. That's just like
it felt good.
That's the key.
I tell you what, like Sean doesn't seem to get too phased by this whole COVID scenario, but. For me, when we did that last COVID test, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. Not like let's start licking poles or whatever, but you're like, I can go talk to people now or whatever.
Going up the escalator.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm COVID free.
No, I wasn't tripping about the COVID too much. I was like, dude, you can't get COVID here. It was insane. I mean,
it did feel like at a certain point.
Like when you're doing, what's that weed thing? Roundup.
Oh yeah, Roundup
with the thing on your back and then
it's
literally everywhere you went in that village, just
spraying sanitizer.
It was wet, wet with sanitizer.
Probably definitely 10 times worse for us than actually getting COVID. That you're just spraying it in your face.
They always had those little caution things up, wet floor, because there's so much sanitizer, and just they had people going around in like full suits, like Fallout suits, like going.
I've got a video of the because we went down to there's 2 Olympic villages. There's the mountain one, and then there's the city one. And the big air one was in the city of Beijing. And I don't think it snowed down there the whole Olympics. And it finally snowed down there, and all like the workers of the Olympic Village are in hazmat suits. And Sean, we're like sitting in our hotel room, and Sean, it's like snowing. It's finally getting like there's buildup on the ground, and Sean's like sees all these hazmat guys out there like throwing snowballs, and he goes down there in all of his Olympic gear. Starts building up snowballs, and he's just whipping at people. And I've got the video on my phone. I'm just like filming outside the room, and he's like, "These guys are loving it, dude.
They're so
having
stoked.
a snowball fight with some USA."
Those guys were the sickest,
Olympian.
honestly.
Yeah,
and they like came up, and one guy came up, and he was like so fired up on the U.S. team, and like we gave him a bunch of like U.S. team gear, and he was just like, yeah, it was cool. Those guys were really cool.
Yeah, backbone of the Olympics, really.
Straight up, yeah.
Seems like a memorable experience.
Yeah, it was fun.
For sure.
We had a good time.
It was cool.
I like that. I'm curious about this too. You guys, you're a disaster on the range. You show up when it's time to golf. You show up when there's $50 on the line golfing, and you've shown up at the Olympics. You've shown up at Locks Open. Do you guys in these high pressure situations that you've been, even the most recent X Games and things like that? I'm curious that when the pressure's on, do you feel like you need it to thrive? In your head, are you like, I thrive on the pressure?
I mean, I think in snowboarding, yes, I do. Like, I think in snowboarding, it is something that hypes me up and stuff. But in regular life, I don't really think it does. Like, I've tried it with golf, as corny as it is. I've tried it in golf when we're like playing rounds. You're like, all right, try to like lock into like a snowboard contest mindset right now and see if you can do something. I usually end up doing worse, so it's really just snowboarding, it seems like. But when it does come down to that, I think for me it's more like when the contest starts, you just kind of get psyched up a little bit and you're like, let's go land runs, So I think it's more just like the pressure of the contest happening. But I don't really think I'm too much like that. I don't know, maybe a little bit.
Sean?
I don't know. I kind of just like to treat it like a practice run all the time. Like even like like you were saying, like on the golf course is kind of corny, but like just trying like on that, just like a lot of what I do is just being like, just trust it. Just trust it. That's kind of what I'll tell myself a lot of the time. I'll try to do it skating a lot too. I'll put like weird stuff on it too, like in my head. Like if you don't get it this try, this and this will happen.
You can't eat
like
dinner.
Yeah. But like, yeah, just like gnarlier things in my head. I think like I've always just caught it like put something on it. So you do commit. Like I've had that a lot with just skating my vert ramp alone. A lot of times it's when I'm alone too, is when I'll like sort of do that. But like on the vert ramp, I'll be like, if you don't land it in the next 2 tries, some illogical thing will happen that's out of your control. But like something like that, right?
Like an
just like something to like kind of make you commit. And it works really good with skating because a lot of skating is committing. It can definitely get you because you might commit to something you shouldn't. That has happened a lot, but
Once you go off the lip, though, you're committed.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
really
You
nice.
That's
can't
the
kick your
difference.
board out, or you're flat backing, which is a term
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
The term flat backing. Red, do you have any good stories? I've heard on the show, Sean's talked about how he's flat backed. Wondering if you have any memorable Sean flat backing stories.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a flat back story, but there's a classic one that, what was that? Is it 2 years ago now? Probably
Yeah.
2 years
Sauce
ago.
Bay?
2 years.
No, we were
come
traveling back from Locks Open. And in snowboarding, it seems like there's just this thing that happens after the contest is over. It seems like you kind of you drink a lot, you know? It's not like the best to say, but when it's happening, it's awesome. And you have a lot of fun and talk about how the contest went, whatever. Have fun with your boys. And we're traveling back from Lock, Switzerland to Copper, and we have some like early morning laps the next day lined up. So I get up at like 5:30 a.m. all jet lagged, and we're like kind of going, just like trying to like feel our feet out. And Sean's like kind of starting
to
to
feel like a person. Dude.
yeah,
It's
like
hard.
really just trying to come back to life. It really feels like, but like I'm like watching Sean. I'm like telling Sean, like Sean's like, you can see he's like trying to get into something right now, and he ends up just like throwing a trick, and just like midway through, you see this all of his motivation left his body. There's just like nothing left. There's no more energy to give at all. It's like it's so bad. It's like just so far from like getting it anywhere, and just lands perfect flat back. And luckily the jump was good, and it's like pretty smooth landing. And he comes down, and I just look over him like, "What are you doing right now? Who are you trying to be, dude?"
Dude, it was like, what are you doing right now, dude? And then gets on the sled, and I'm just like, and I just landed on my back where I'm actually looking at my bindings and my board in the air still. Like, and it was like, I went off the lip, and I knew I was done for, dude. I like missed snap, but it's like one of those things like you're talking about in snowboarding. You have to go. Like,
You have to commit.
There's like, if I bailed, it would have been really, really bad, I feel like. But you just have to
No, it was a good save. It was,
No, but it was just so classic. And then I was sitting there, I was like, what am I doing right now, dude? Why am I trying these things?
well, and I think what really worked, like X Games is like 2 days out, you know, so we're like trying to get our feet a little bit more. I mean, I respect the hustle, but
That was a fair point.
There's
really.
there's a no one to hold them, no one to fold them situation.
Yes, exactly. And we had another session the next day. It wasn't like that was it.
that's the funny part. You're like, dude, just cruise it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, big news coming at you from the bomb hole. CAPiTA has launched their whole new collection. All of the new boards are available now, so check them out. Now, of course, you got staples like the DOA. Everyone loves that thing. Everyone loves the Black Snowboard of Death. Coquard's been putting a beat down on jumps with that thing for years. And then if you're a female, the Birds of a Feather is beloved. That board is awesome. I'm also hearing the newcomers to CAPiTA are loving the Aeronaut, the Megadeth, and the Spring Break Resort Twin. You might see Joey Fava crab walking down the hill on that thing, putting a beat down on the steel. He makes that thing look awesome. And for me personally, I love the Navigator. When it comes to riding powder, riding the resort, I ride the 161 or the 164. It's huge, but it's soft. That's what I love about it. It's a big board, but you can still have fun on it. You can still maneuver it around. So the CAPiTA Navigator would be my recommendation for powder. And then for park, I love the Indoor Survival. Can't go wrong. Great board for presses, great board for park jumps. It's fantastic. And the one thing about CAPiTA that I think is really special is that their factory is handmade in Austria with 100% clean energy. All the boards are handmade, 100% clean energy. Can't go wrong. They're world-class production over there. They make great snowboards. So check out their new website, CAPitasnowboards.com, or your local snowboard shop, and see if you see anything you like. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Let's talk about bindings. Let's talk about Union Binding Co. I personally think they make the best bindings on the market. I'm biased, but I think that would be the general consensus amongst most snowboarders. We're talking buttery smooth ratchets. We're talking lots of adjustability. But most importantly, I love the clean look. Draplin did the logo years ago, and it is strong. I run the white Union Force Classics on some black pants. I think it just looks timeless, personally. But you can't go wrong with any binding in the line. You know, they have a stacked team of riders. We're talking Travis Rice. We're talking Arthur Longo, Kazuhiro Kahubo, Austin Viz, Jess Kimura. The list goes on of just very talented snowboarders, and it's a company that's owned by snowboarders. It's snowboarders that care about this lifestyle we call snowboarding, and they invest in it, and they make great products. So if you're interested in getting yourself a pair of bindings, check out unionbindingcompany.com. Check out their whole line. You won't be disappointed.
Are you struggling to hit your protein goals? Well, I'm not. And that's because of our good friends over at Kodiak. Their products are helping me and my body get the protein that I need to function at the highest capacity. It's important to get your morning started off right with a hot and quick breakfast, and Kodiak's got you covered. The protein that is packed into these products will keep you fuller for longer and help you start your day being your best. And don't worry, they got options. They got oatmeal, they got bars, and they got flapjacks. It's not much else you need for a good breakfast. Crafted with 100% whole grain, you can find them at your local grocery store. Just look for the bear on the packaging. Or you can go to KodiakCakes.com and you can get yourself hooked up there. If you want to look like me and get big muscles, you're going to need your protein. Kodiak's got you covered.
All right, boys, let's change gears. A lot of people are interested. Huge news. Obviously, you announced recently that you left Burton and moved on to Arbor, but you were with Burton for such a long time. I'd love to hear you just kind of elaborate about your experience over at Burton and why you left.
Yeah, I was with Burton forever. Started snowboarding when I was 2 years old, so pretty young. And I was riding Burton, my whole life, and I have nothing but great things to say about them. And I mean, they took me on so many fun trips, met all my best friends on those trips and stuff, and got to travel the world and do all these things. And I guess along these last 5-6 years, it feels like I've been going through a bit of a rebrand in a lot of ways. This isn't something that I was expecting to happen or whatever, but it was one of those things with this a little bit of like rebrand that I say I'm going through or whatever. I constantly want to just try to keep growing in snowboarding, and it kind of just felt like I got to a point with Burton that I didn't know how much more I was going to grow with the company, and with the opportunity of going to Arbor and doing. Going to a smaller brand and building them up and, moving to a new team and doing things a little bit different. I was really excited about growing more. I really have nothing but great things to say about Burton and the crew that they have over there, and whether it's in-house, like the team manager, Zach Nigro, Pat Dodge, and back to my first team managers, Frankie Chapman and all these guys. I mean, those guys treated me like, those guys were my parents, and I cannot thank them enough for, kind of creating the person who I am today, and traveling the world with them was incredible. But, down the line, it was, it's kind of a business decision, and down the line, it just kind of felt like it was something. It might be time to switch it up a little bit.
Now, I'm curious, with Burton, they have a reputation for making some of the best boards, specifically if you're a contest rider. I know a lot of people get special board made, and, if you're doing, it's one thing for a civilian doing we're doing a front three on a 20-foot park jump, or for you guys chucking 16s and all that stuff on huge jumps, you guys need really, really good equipment. I was curious how the switch was going from those Burton boards and how the Arbors are feeling.
So far, it's been so chill. I've always been kind of a rider where it feels like product doesn't really affect me too much as long as I got my same stance on my snowboard, and I like to ride a little bit of a setback stance so I can see a little bit more nose and all that. It's pretty easy. The hardest part for me, honestly, is just switching up to the 4-hole format.
Sliders.
I was EST forever. I had when I switched over to Arbor, the first thing I had to do, I'd look at my girlfriend Haley, and I was like, how do I set up one of these boards? Pretty corny and kind of embarrassed of it or whatever. But that's been the biggest switch up for sure. But I mean, no, I think that's a pretty common thing that feels like happens where it's Burton makes the best boards and all that. But I think you look at it from an outside perspective, and everyone's riding different snowboards. It's just a piece of wood, and I think if you're buying that high-end product and you're looking to do high-end maneuvers and snowboard high-end, it's going to ride pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. I like that. How many boards do you break a year?
I don't break any boards. Hopefully, I haven't broken any boards in a year, and hopefully I can keep that going.
Sean, what's your record?
My record?
Yeah, what's your record?
1 year I broke 11 with the previous sponsor.
2 different riding styles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I battle.
He's got the skater mentality, the Pedro style, where it's just, I'm committing to this thing.
He's a bulldozer.
Yeah.
You're more Gordon Lightfoot out there.
I was getting really good at this one move. Not too many people are as good as it as I am, but you land and you're so squatted out that you end up doing a front flip when you land, because it just the kinetic energy then lifts you into a fronty when you land, and you pickaxe and go, and it just focuses boards. It's fun. I would recommend it. I could probably teach a class on it.
Yeah. Well, that's when you're stacked over your board too.
Yeah.
You're landing solid. You're not landing over your toes.
He lands
and heels.
solid.
Yeah, he's landed solid.
I bet his ankles know about how he lands solid.
Ankles, no. Yeah.
So I'm curious with Arbor, when you're like, okay, I'm making this switch, I'm going over there. They have a really cool group of people behind the scenes over there, from everybody in sales all the way to marketing. You have Eddie Walls, the team manager, and did you come to them and you're like, hey, this is what I want to do with my snowboarding the next few years? Does it align? Did you guys have conversations like that?
Yeah, there was conversations like that for sure, and I think more it was is them contacting me, which doesn't really matter. Long story short, or whatever. But I think it's just more about moving into the next part of my career. I'm 24, so I'm kind of older in snowboarding, kind of young in this weird little middle spot. But I've been lucky enough to have a longer career when I was younger, and now it feels like might be time to transition into something else. So with that, it's just kind of trying to create a long-term program for the next, I don't know what it will be, but hopefully for the next 10 years or something, or maybe plus. And with them, it really just aligned really well over at Arbor. They're really, for me, their in-house program that they have, all their marketing people, and to Eddie Wall, to Matt Patty, and all these guys, I think I really aligned with their views of where they want the company to go. And I've always been a really big fan of signature products. When I was growing up, all I wanted to do was ride stuff that the pros rode, and I think those guys really agreed with that. And making the switch with Jared Elston as well, and it just feels like there's a lot of energy moving over to Arbor, which I was really, really psyched to.
So you're working on signature boards, signature bindings? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Down the line, I think we're going to work on a signature men's board, and then the one that's really exciting for me, I think, is working on a signature kids board. Because I feel like, growing up, there's always kids boards to ride, but I feel a lot of the time they end up, pretty budget for, for good reason. You end up growing out of that board in a year. You can't ride that snowboard forever, and they end up being not the best board. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to design a kids board that's going to be a little bit more high performance and more on the viewing lines and on the path of USASA and all that, and becoming a more high performance snowboarder, which it'll be really fun to design that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool. That's awesome. Arbor's making moves. I love to see it. All right, let's keep this thing moving. That was great, Red. I'm glad you covered that. There's a topic that I think's interesting in as far as the ecosystem of snowboarding that I've noticed. And when it comes to competitive snowboarding particularly, it seems like there's almost a divide where people take contest snowboarders, which you guys do more than that, but some may consider you contest snowboarders, and they put some contest snowboarders in a box, right? Where they're like, oh, this person's just a contest snowboarder. And I think that has a lot to do with the tricks being so out of reach that once they get over a 12 or something, people are just like, oh, I can't even comprehend that. And so I think about back in the day where you had Super Park, they did a really good job of, the person that's filming a video part or the backcountry rider is standing right next to the person that does contests. So now all of a sudden they're intermingling and everybody's riding together. It's not such a segregated thing. Peace Park does a good job with that as well. But I'm curious if you guys feel like there's a little bit of a gap sometimes between like people that ride contests and video part, and how do we bridge that?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of what you just said, that
Yeah.
like there isn't really those events anymore to bring everyone together, Like Super Park's done. Peace Park didn't happen this year at least. I think you kind of miss out on that, where it kind of turns into like you almost need to, really branch out on either side, to get to know those people. And I think it's really easy if you don't know those people to sort of send shade both ways.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the people I like, who I really enjoy hanging out with filming snowboarders, like when I think it's really fun to get around those people and kind of do what we're doing here and banter about it a little bit. It doesn't, really happen in this way, I would say, but I think it's pretty fun. And, the one thing that it's interesting with the Super Park and the launch gone and all that, I feel like we're kind of going around a subject of the bomb hole being the new press people and this new media source. So I mean, maybe it falls in your guys' hands here. What happens next? Doing another event? I guess the Bomb Hole Cup.
Well, who you got to talk to Bomb Hole Cup. That's for that's for everybody too as well. That's for all ability levels and everything. And it is really fun. Like Haley won the female division last year, and you have like Nils or Sage standing next to somebody snowboarding for the first time.
Yeah.
But I do feel like definitely for me, I'll just say when I was filming video parts and I watched a guy go 14, 16, 18, and you're front boarding a king crail, it's like a different sport, man. There's like totally different deals. But when you have them, when you stand next to the person and you watch them do a back five, even though you've only seen them do 16s in contests, you're just like, good God,
Yeah.
these guys are incredible.
But I think there's like a similar respect there, I have a lot of respect for everyone that's in the streets, like front boarding through some gnarly DFD. Like I'm like, I don't want to do like that is gnarly.
You might be flat backing.
Right, with stairs and everything there, like that is so gnarly. But then I imagine they'll probably look at like a front 18 and be like, I feel like there is a certain respect that does go both ways,
and I think that's kind of how it just. I mean, opinions are awesome, and I love bickering. Honestly, I think that snowboarding needs that. I think it's like super fun to do that, and I think everyone kind of enjoys that. But it's nice to like having mutual respect for everyone to do it. Like I'm not as much a street guy. I respect the hell out of what everyone does. I think it's pretty impressive. But when I watch, say, Big Mountain Jeremy, you guys just put out something with him. But when I watch him ride a line, I can promise you, I'm sitting there like there's no way in hell I'm gonna go hike up that mountain and ride down it. So I think there is that mutual respect is very well there, and I think hopefully it stays there.
And I do feel like that does carry, like as much as there is like it's talked about like this separation. I think that on both sides between all the stuff in snowboarding, like street, big mountain, park, contest, whatever you want to call it, it's like there's a mutual respect. I think. At least I think this way. If around everyone is like, if you're getting gnarly, you're getting gnarly, and that's it. At the end of the day, like you have to respect it.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't respect it, it's whack. I don't know.
I mean that is a fair point. Like, dude, that's a really good point. And even speaking on our side, like if there's someone that's like, you can not respect an 1800, but if you don't respect the effort that goes into it, you're like, damn, that's kind of crazy. You're like, these guys, that's pretty gnarly what you're going through, I mean, just the way I'm thinking about it there, I'm like, dude, if I'm watching someone do an 1800, I'm like, you're putting a lot on the line there. There's like a lot that can go wrong. And it's the same thing when you go watch a front board through the kink in the streets and there's cement and stairs on both sides, you know?
Yeah, if you're at the top being like, oh God, then you're doing it. Like, you're doing it right.
Totally. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of talk on the internet about, spin to win or this, that. And I think that I would urge our listeners to go watch a practice of a slopestyle contest, because I think it's really impressive, because you're like, yeah, but that person did an 1800, there's no style. Well, have you seen him do a back 180?
Yeah, right.
Have you seen, Red switchback, or McMo's switchback 5, or all your guys' spins under 720 are ridiculous. So,
right. Yeah, that was kind of something they're like, I don't want to see anything over 900. Like, oh, he's doing 18. Yeah. But it's like, all right, well, have that guy. How do you think he even got to an 1800 in the first place?
You think he just woke up and chose that?
Yeah, his 900 is fuck you good.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He can literally do it with
incredible.
one eye and have 18 beers in him. Like,
dude, yeah, that's insane. I've done like cab 9s. I could probably count on one hand how many I've done.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys are just like, yeah, cab 9 is basically fucking first grade math for you guys.
For me and Sean, it's pretty high up there. We're not good at cab, but I like the route you're going.
You guys got different approaches, though. I noticed like you seem to get your trick done with. Let's say you're doing a 16, you like snap it, get it done, and then open up and spot it. And then you got Bon. He's gonna flip that son of a bitch to get it around.
It's an interesting. We've been talking about this a lot, because right now it's like it's kind of weird. It's like there's this flat spinning process that's going on right now, or like how Japan does it. Japanese guys, they find this wobble access and they can go for, I don't know when they can stop, honestly.
Dude, you'll find out. Like, the jump gets bigger. Yeah. The jump gets bigger, and they'll just keep it. Doesn't.
But then you got someone over here like Sean, like flipping is like, oh, we kind of going, it's on its way to getting extinct almost. And
I'm a dying breed. I'm a dying breed. It's insane. And coaches are trying to get people to stop flipping. It's like, all right, guys, come on. It's pretty fun. It looks good. I think it looks good.
It does look good.
But also,
when
helps.
it goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
no one's seen a frontside nose pick until you've seen one.
I will argue this, though, dude. It is easier to know where you are in the air when you're flipping, because you go, boom, spot, or like whatever. Like, you feel like those, like, instead of being, like, if you're doing an 1800 flat, I mean, Red's really good at it, of just, I don't even know, but I can't figure it out. How do you...
Thank you.
When you're spinning that fast and not flipping, when you have, like, that, like... or like something like that, like where you know what's, because you get those little pictures in your head from that.
Yep.
But Mark's a great example of the flip. Like, you can watch Mark when he flips. I think the guy might spot like 18 times in one air. It's crazy. He takes off the lip, spots knuckle, one flip, spots knuckle, two flips, spots knuckle. Like, he knows exactly where he is.
I have a question. When you're doing a flat 18, do you know where you are?
No.
Or is it kind of like Braille vibes?
No,
just kind of.
I don't, honestly. And this is... but that's like the way I've chose it. So like now I just try to like take off, get as best pop as I can, and do like for an 1800, I'll do like a flat backside 14, and then I know at the end of it I want to get to this back 3 where I do like a little bit of a front flip in with melon, and that's what I try to find in the air. So it's like 2 different ways of doing tricks, Like Sean is spotting, with his flips after every flip. I just try to find the last 360 that I need to do, and then spot there and then go.
And I will say, like, the more I'm like on my front 18, it's like the more I'm spinning, it almost starts to flatten out. But in my head, like I can still kind of feel the flipping of it. Like, it's not as like flippy as my front 14, but it is still flippy. But there's a spot in it where I look and I'll know if I can go 18 or if I'm like, all right, we hold this at 14 here.
I'm curious, like, dude, I try so hard. Like, 900 is just everything. Like, it's been I mean, I haven't done a lot of 9s in the past couple of years, but like when I was doing 9s, it was like, okay, we're giving it everything off the lip. Like, what the fuck are you thinking when you're going 18? That's a whole nother 900 in there. That's going off the jump, doing 900. and then doing a whole nother 900. Like, how do you get the energy to snap that son of a bitch? Any pointers for somebody just thinking about trying 18?
I would honestly just
the Woodward
it's just,
Park seating.
It's just fundies.
Good
it
fun.
really
Yeah,
is.
it
I
really
mean,
is.
there's no reason to rush to anything. If you like,
You're
I
rushing to
learned,
an 1800, you're gonna find yourself broke off.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
like, I
bad.
mean, it ain't
it's
gonna
gonna
be
get
good.
bad. But I mean, even like from going, if you're like, let's just say you're at Woody's, just a boarder, and you're trying to get to 900. Spend a whole day doing front fives until they just feel unbelievable, and like you're like you have the like just like that control of a trick where you are like popping well, and you are like you're not skirting off the lip like and like things like feel really good where you feel like okay, this is, and then you can also like see like how you'd come into that last like 180. That's like the hard part with frontside landing switches, that like finishing it, you know, like
Driving the right, yeah.
you don't just like do a 540 and then you're like, okay, 720, 900, like you do, but it's not like 540, 720. It's like you have to like understand what's happening.
And the funny part about it is like it slows down so much. Like when you're going off the, like for me, for instance, when I'm going off the lip and I'm doing just like a front 14 or something, it's not like I'm going off the lip and I'm doing a front 14. It's like I'm going off the lip and I could do either a front 7 or a front 14. It all starts with having good pop off the takeoff. And then once you get that good pop and snap, then you're in the air and then it's like a little bit more aerials and you're just kind of controlling it as it happens, you know?
If you truly do have good control over a trick, you will pop off the lip and you can like chill and then go. Like even on like a front 18, I like will go pop and like have a second while I get to my grab, and then it goes really fast, and then you're like, but
oh, dude, it's crazy.
No, but
he's so right. It's crazy when you want to speed up shit, you can speed it.
but
up.
like if you are going into a trick and you're like, let's just say you want to do the 900, you have your fives down, you might be going to the jump and being like, oh God, I got like a 900 is a lot, right? What you're gonna end up doing is trying to get this trick over with and going early on the lip. Now you have no pop. Now you have no power. You don't have anything. You're just kind of at that point you're kind of flailing through the air and hoping you don't hit the knuckle.
Yeah.
Versus like if you approach it like a front 5, but you're just gonna add a 360 in it.
Yeah.
Which isn't, when you really think in the grand scheme of things.
Yep, I like
that's
this.
not that much. And then if you approach it with that same takeoff and you have like you can pop and then get to your grab. And don't like rush to your grab either. Like let it naturally get to your grab. And then if you did it right, you will have so much power to like get this trick to go how you want it to go versus like
it all starts at the lip. It really like when you have good pop on a good trick, you like it can go wherever it wants, it feels like.
This is a master class. All right, I got a question. What's going on with like take Su Yiming? Let's say he does an 18. It almost seems like when he starts tweaking his board, he almost grabs like a sad air mute. It's like a gas pedal, like the gas pedal tweak. When you guys just like grab a certain way and like really yoink it seems to like speed up your rotation.
I mean, that's kind of what Red does, like on all of his backside, like 14, 18, 16, even like I've seen it. He goes like, and then like when he's trying to get somewhere, especially, it'd be like and just throw this.
That's what I mean, like
melon.
the last back 3 on, because I try to do it with back 10 to back 14 to back 18. It's just finding the last back 3, and you like, it sounds so gosh darn lame when I'm talking about it this way because I hate it, but it's like you grab melon, find the last back 3, and then you just kind of like take your hand, and it's like right here, and then you just drive it to the left, and you do like a back 3 melon poke, and it just slows everything down, you know.
That's the same thing with my front 18 is I look and get a certain spot and then I just take this mute, and I guess if you can see in the cam, you go and slide it, you almost slide it down your board and just throw your back foot over, and that speeds everything up. It's not even, I would throw it the same as my front 14 and then get to that point and then just yank on it and just drive.
Just give it a
Because
yoink.
it's the same, like you on your front 14, you do the same takeoff, but it's that last, third flip, you either decide if you want to drive into it.
Right.
He's got one of the more
it's all a
interesting
poke
front 14s.
too. It's all like a poke. Like,
Yeah.
and the poke is kind of where you get a lot of places. Like if you look at contest riders,
Slow it
like
down.
they'll be doing a lot of pokes. So like get somewhere or slow it down. I mean, generally, I feel like a poke is trying to get somewhere.
But it's an interesting.
Like a good poke is like in a 540. Like you're poking it for for that like factor.
The good point is though, going back to when I'm going to poke a 540, it all comes down to good snap. Like if you miss your snap off the lip,
you
you're
can't
not
poke.
poking anything.
Right.
You're barely grabbing your board.
But this is actually a pretty funny conversation because we just had this like big riders meeting in New Zealand, and what I took out of it was that it's almost like the grabs essentially aren't really being judged on the grabs. Like back in the day, it used to be like everyone would do back 14 mute. So then if someone did back 14 melon, you go maybe a 0.5 higher. And now it's like everyone's got their own grabs that work with their spins. So it's like it's not really being judged any better, whatever the grab is. It's just like it's what works for people. And like for Su Yu Ming, it seems like when he grabs indie, he can find that access where he's just wobbling and going through the air.
Just driving that
He
back
can't
foot.
stop until he hit. Like he's going.
And he's poking the shit out of it.
He is. It's crazy. It looks like his leg's broken while doing it. You're like, oh my gosh, it's pretty impressive. Like, dude, nothing but respect for the Chinese and the Japanese. Those guys, like, they spend a lot of time on the airbag in the summer, I think, but. Which is good. I mean, they're dedicated to what they're doing, but they've figured out cool ways that it works.
We got a Patreon question that ties into this from Andrew. I'll just take this one, Silk. Who is taking X Games gold this year?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Slope style. Red, double gold.
I would love
Back
to.
to back?
I mean, I would love that. It'd be awesome if I could do that, and I think hopefully I hopefully have a run to do it. But there's so many other contenders out there. It's crazy.
Takaru's looking good.
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Takaru, it's such a cutthroat. This is like right now, snowboarding slopes out is at such a cutthroat point. Like I don't even think Takaru is gonna have starts in World Cups this year. So it's like I don't think he'll have a chance to get the X Games gold. And that's
dude. Yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I was saying
sorry.
it's been dope that like I don't think Takaru is competing. I don't know. Maybe you have to
I don't want
cut
to
this
put his
out.
word. Yeah.
I don't think he's competing anymore. But I will say, since he's not competing,
Shit's epic.
his shit
Yeah,
has
it's
been
incredible.
so sick what he was doing in Australia, and he's still doing
In
all
South
the
Bay
gnarly
now,
Back
dude.
rodeo
Yeah.
tail grab,
Dude,
9 or whatever it was.
It's almost like
Back
and
12
it's-
tail and
he
stuff.
hasn't stopped doing the gnarly stuff too. It's like this is like kind of what, as a contest rider, how I would want to go about things. It's like, okay, if you're done competing, but you're not done doing like these gnarly tricks because they're gnarly and I think they're sick. You don't just like stop competing. You're like, okay, I guess I go 9 and under now. Like I think that's lame, but like he's like doing it where he's like still doing 16s and stuff because he can, and I bet
great
he's still got
talent,
18 in him. Like, but then we'll like start experimenting with these rodeos and stuff because it's not it's not something he's going to use in a contest.
It's like, it's a great thing to touch on too, because it
It's so
seems like
sick.
every time a snowboarder gets out of the contest, they go right to filming, or maybe they're even done or whatever it is. But it's like, we've been talking about this lately where it's like, sometimes it is exhausting going to these camps and just spinning so much. And it's like, most of the time when you go to these camps, you like post an Instagram clip and people love it, and it feels like Takaru in a lot of ways, he's going to these camps and he's doing stuff that people love and want to see.
Yes.
Shit that I want to see. Like
Right.
I saw 2 days ago he did a back 12 with tail. And it's like if you're kind of on the contest circuit, some people are doing that, and I respect that. Like they'll go there and I want to change up grabs, but every time I go to like a camp or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to take this time and go, I guess, try to learn a new trick and try to set myself up for, the upcoming contest, where it's like when you're off that contest circuit, there's totally like a route where you just go to these camps and like you're so talented, go there and just do tricks that people back and want to see,
Totally. As a fan of snowboarding, watching what Takaru's been putting out,
Yeah.
it's just so fun.
It's
so
sick,
dope.
dude.
And he's
It's
just like
really
he's
cool.
challenging himself in both areas. Like, why not? Why not go for the big spins and then slow it down? Do some cool rodeos. Do like mess around with some
I have a
12s with those
question.
crazy grabs.
So like this is, I don't know, this is a hard one to breach, but like to me, the back rodeo spins are so fucking cool. And they just, I guess if you're putting it next to an 18, it's going to be hard to say that that's more difficult. But do you guys ever feel like the back rodeo spins don't get enough love from the judges, or am I on an island with that take? What are your guys' takes on the? I mean, an 18 is harder than
this was kind of
back rodeo
something.
12.
This is kind of something
Is
we
it?
were talking about in this judges riders meeting that we had in Australia recently. It's kind of, or New Zealand, sorry. It's kind of like if something isn't being done, then it should be rewarded. And if you're the only one doing that, it should be rewarded, right? And then, but then as soon as other people start doing it, then it starts to become more, like a thing that's happening. If like the back double rodeo 12 or whatever, like if that is becoming a thing, like if the few guys, like I think Frank was doing them, insane in locks. I thought he got severely underscored,
Yeah,
whatever.
me too. Yeah.
But like you should get hooked up for that in a big air. If he does that, he should get hooked up, like, because you go through it and you go, okay, I just saw 15 back 18s.
Yeah.
I just saw about 100 switch back 16 and back
Right.
16s, But then you're like, and then you look and you go, oh, there was one back double rodeo 12. Like there's something to be said. Why are more people not doing that? It's a 1260, but like obviously something's going on where that is gnarly and no one else is doing that. That should almost, in my opinion, and I think it did actually in Edmonton, it got scored well.
It
Which is
is.
good, but it should be scored with those 18s, with those big dog tricks, because why else would there be one guy doing it?
It is. And I think like the back, yes, like long story, yes. I think those back rodeos, back rodeo 12s, whatever they are, should definitely be up there with those 18s and should even be getting scored higher. Like I think Frank's in Edmonton, it should be getting scored higher. When you watch someone do 5 back 18s, or riders do 5 back 18s, and there's only one guy doing that, that says something. Like I'd way, way, way rather go do a back 18 right now than try to switch double backside rodeo 1260. But like there's interesting things that come up with it, and there's been a lot that like the double Todeo 1080.
Yeah,
or the
Cleveland
double,
Steamer.
yeah, and like Mons, or like they do double Todeo 1440, where it's like it's getting scored really high, and that's like good. But then once that field starts, because like once the field catches on to doing a 1080, it's like everyone's gonna be doing it, it's gonna be easy as hell.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, it's like that's one of the first double corks done. It's gonna be very easy, like once they do it, which just kind of it loops back to the bigger spins happening more. And
Yeah,
more.
it's hard to argue that if you're judging a contest on difficulty,
Yeah.
what's more difficult?
Right. You just like, is this a loophole or is this legit? Like that's I think
The
what it
thing
comes
is,
into.
then the hard part is the subjectivity, because to me, the back rodeo rotations are beautiful.
They're
I just
great.
think they just look cool. You're falling backwards. It's a different level of commitment, where the front rodeo ones are super challenging, but I don't think they match the
No.
Not
level
even
of
close to a
difficulty
back
to
rodeo.
commit, right?
Dude, when
Just
you
the-
fuck up on a back rodeo, it's
Yeah.
either you get knocked out or you're getting
Well, I mean,
concussed.
when you actually
it's
mess, when you mess up and you're heli dicking into the landing,
yeah,
like you actually,
you're out of control.
you're like, whatever,
Yeah.
dude. I have no control over
Yeah.
what's about to happen to me.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah, it's super funny though, because like everyone in contest, it feels like now everyone in contest snowboarding is like, oh, let's slow it down, let's do more unique tricks and all this, and then you're like, yeah, that sounds awesome from the outside looking in, but once everyone gets a hold of this slowing it down, like I guarantee, one of the Japanese riders, they'll be able to do the best back rodeo
Right.
900 you'll ever see,
Right.
And then like everyone will just catch on.
I mean,
to that,
dude,
so.
Tyga really is a good
Tyga,
example. of
Hasagawa.
this. He has, he did all 4 19s, all of them. He did
Yeah.
all of them. He has them pretty consistently too, and then like, it's insane. And then, but then on
Good
top
X
of
Games
that,
pick.
Yeah,
great
totally.
X Games
He's
pick.
Any contest,
Great X
you
Games
could pick
pick.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then on top of that, it's like, okay, well, he just spins a lot. It's like, all right, dude, this guy's got rodeos. Like, you wouldn't
Right.
believe, give him a month where they go, we want rodeos only. It's done.
It's like
Done.
It is true. It's true.
It's already a done deal.
It's like
he'll
people
give you
start to
he'll give
think
you a
that,
back
like,
rodeo
19s
triple 16 probably, dude. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding, dude. It's done.
It's like people think that 19s for him are easy or something. You're like, no, he worked up to he's got every single
Yeah.
trick he wants.
This guy was just born with a good 19. Some
yeah. Like,
some
that
people
doesn't
just are
happen.
born with it. No, yeah, that makes sense. All right, I got a couple other hot takes, wormholes to go down. All right, where are we at with? Remember back in the day? I don't know. You guys might be too young, but the Hems It All kicker back in the day. You watch old
Oh, yeah.
absinthe videos. Huge step down. Okay, where are we at with just chucking a giant step down in the middle of a slopestyle run. I mean, there might be 12 to
terrifying.
20 bodies carted off,
Terrifying.
but I'm kind of with it.
Yeah, I mean,
100
if I was a
100 foot-
spectator, I'd be with it too.
Yeah, if I'm watching,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, let's make the biggest step down ever made.
Yeah,
Super park.
put an
step
airport
down.
in the middle of it.
Yeah. As
They
a
did that
rider-
actually at the launch. Remember that one year at Big Bear? They had that step down. It was massive. And the only one that hit it, I think Ben hit it once, and then a park builder hit it, knuckled it, blew out both of his knees.
That's what I'm talking about.
Blew out
That's
both
what I'm
his
talking.
knees.
That's the kind of contest I'm talking about. Let's do this.
He called
What
it the
are we doing
career
here?
ender.
Yeah, I mean, it's just life or death. I don't. As a rider, I don't think I'd want that.
I'm good.
I would hit that.
You're not pro step down.
I would hit
you know
that.
Who's going first on that? Brock.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brock.
100%. Or
If you-
K-Mac.
Dude. Yeah,
It's K-Mac or Brock.
If you the
Okay.
most impressive shit I've seen though, like up there in my top 10 is you can ask Brock to hit any jump, he will get the speed right 9 times out of 10. I haven't seen him like fuck up a speed bad, and if he does, it's not detrimental at all.
Right.
It's pretty impressive,
It's
honestly.
a great skill set. The guy to go first.
I'll say this
Yeah.
with K-Mac on the
Heart attack.
scaffolding. He was like, I remember one time we were in Modena, horrible scaffolding jump, like so sketchy. No one knows the speed. K-Mac goes, I'll go first and I'll hit it switch.
Yeah.
The switch method over it, like, but we didn't know, like,
Pretty
it was
badass.
it was so sick.
Savage.
Badass.
And he still, and then he would do that like the rest of the season.
So
It
he's
was kinda
pro step down. You think? He's pro step down.
You
I
want to know
don't
what I'm
think
pro?
K-Mac-
I'm pro step up, step down. You know,
Wow.
just different stuff.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
never step ups in slopestyle contests. Like you need a crazy amount of speed.
Yeah.
though.
Dude, I would
of
argue
course.
there's no
And,
step
like-
ups that exist anymore outside of if you build it yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, when was the last time you went to a park and there was a sick step up that wasn't tiny?
Dude, good point. That's a good point. I mean, I just watched Arrow do the double back rodeo 1080 for the first time again because we interviewed him recently, and it was like, dude, imagine the freaking dogs unloading on that now. What would happen?
Yeah.
Our heads would explode.
And think about like what you can do on a step up. You could like
You can
like,
flat
like a
back.
proper
You can
step
flat
up.
back.
Yeah, oh yeah, and laugh
Well,
about
hopefully
it.
the
You can laugh
flat back will
about
be
it.
chill, right?
No,
The
you
step
might-
up. You're just sliding down.
You might
slide.
you could maybe try to do like a sweet flat back like and
Yeah,
land
air to
tranny.
it.
Touchdown landing.
But no, I mean like you could do like a double cork and like do one drag knuckle and like try to take it yard but like suck it up almost and like drag knuckle and then keep going. Like I've been
I'd
bummed
like to,
there hasn't
can I
been
see you?
step ups.
How can we make this happen? What you're describing? I'd like to watch you do that. It'd be great.
A Miller flip double is what you're saying.
A double.
Right.
A double Miller flip.
Right, but I think there's no more step ups.
No, there isn't.
There's no more step ups.
Okay, that kind of like relates into this whole like slope sail talk where it's like right now we're so spin heavy when it's like in a lot of ways you could just change up like the building in slope sails and it would challenge people awesomely. But that's also pushing our problems onto the builders. So I don't, I don't envy being those guys or whatever. But it feels like it's been the most classic slope sail for so long, and it felt like in 2016 to 2018 we were changing it up a little bit. Introducing the side hits kind of got used to now. They're pretty used to, I would say. But it's like adding that crazy stuff I think is great. Like, yeah, if you want to add a 100-foot step down, it will get hit and we will be competing on it. Like that's just like how it will work, I think. But more of that is awesome, Like we're still so far away from like the classic stuff of having a hip into a slope style or even having a 100-yard right half pipe wall in a slope style run, where it really challenges so many different people and
Good point.
or challenges everyone, not but it challenges everyone.
I mean, dude, like if you had a slopestyle course like the Red Bull Recharged that was in Mammoth, where you actually had two, like they spaced them out like this, like one hit and then one hit pipe, like straight up pipe hits, like
Yeah,
that's sick, and then a hip and like a couple shark fins and a jump. Like it doesn't need to be 3 jumps. Like you said, yeah.
and now it
Creativity with
just feels like, especially with the snow years that we've been that has been happening, is that now we're just getting contests done to get them done. It's like, I don't know, there's probably a contract in line and you just need to get the contest done with. And we're just going back to like 2012 era when it was 3 jumps,
Yeah.
3 rails at the top, and that's it.
Well, I think about this with contests, though. As a consumer, there's literally only 3 that people care about that are slopestyle. You have Locks Open, you have X Games, and what am I forget? There's a
Kind of right now. It was
Dew
Tour.
yeah.
It was, yeah.
But like aside from that, like the World Cups are pretty like nobody. I hate to say this, but like no real consumers watch World Cups because it's like its own island deal. But like for the big ones, like let's just. I know that's a tremendous build. The snow and the landscape and the speed. There's a lot of for builders, it's a nightmare. But I do like for the marquee events having some putting some firepower into the courses would be really cool.
But, and that's where I thought Dew Tour was crushing it really hard when they did the modified super pipe. The only part that I didn't agree with is like adding a little bit more slopestyle so we could all compete in it. You know, where it's like you're challenging these half pipe riders to do slopestyle, which isn't really what they signed up for. You know, in a way where it's like let's just challenge this whole group of riders to a half pipe style of contest and just have one big event. You know, I like the way that was going a lot. It never really felt like it totally got there, but I think, not speaking for Danny, but I think that was kind of like his idea with it all and with Peace Park, you know?
True. Peace Park setup's incredible as well.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah. What are your favorite, let's talk about favorite contest course you've ever ridden. What comes to mind?
Mine-
Oh, boy.
Mine's usually like Locks Open for sure, just because I like how many jump features there are. I'm a jumper. I like how much airtime there is on that course.
Give the guy 4 wedges.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's dope. I think, and then they'll like add a quarter pipe in at the end, and like I think
that's
that's
fun.
cool and that's fun. That's probably mine.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved the X Games courses, but I think it's more because of how much practice you get. Because you have snowmobiles for 3 days straight, you know, and it's just like you end up leaving there better than you've ever felt on your snowboard every time. So I've always liked those courses, but I guess I would say X Games, yeah.
Dude,
or U.S. Open
I would-
courses were insane
Yeah.
too, dude.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to say?
No, I was gonna say Corvatch is like.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
like Corvatch. I mean, it's what we talked about. It's your 3 wedges. It's just like
Good stuff.
there's something to be said about, and I was gonna touch on that, like, not to bring up a tour, like you will, but like somewhere you kind of know what to expect. But like in that tour, there is just like your stock, boom, slope style course, which is kind of what Corvatch is. They will add like, they usually have like a quarter pipe or some sort of weird feature,
Some
which
have
is
it,
fun,
yeah.
which is cool. But they have like 3 of the best jumps you'll ever
Big
hit
ass
in a line,
booters.
just big boys that like.
Yeah,
It's sick. Like you just
hitting big
and
jumps are epic.
and they got really good flow. I mean, any course that has good flow where you're not like and then hitting the jump and then you have to like stay on it to try to get over the next one. It's like if you can just sort of just like kind of bob through the course and just
Yeah.
like that's a good course.
Yeah,
Anything that gets me feeling like that, anything that I don't have to put in music to ride,
yeah.
I've noticed.
Where are we at with big air contests? Not step down, but like 100-foot jump. Like safe. Like huge pile
You'll
of
see
snow.
some NBDs,
Oh, I'm down.
dude. You'll see some crazy stuff.
You get
on a
Beckett
big-ass
Charles to
booter.
build
I'm
some
down, yeah.
crazy
If
wedge,
there's-
but it's like one of those, you know, like it's like a tremendous pile of snow. It's 100 feet, but it's like step over where it's touchdown still. I would like to see a big air contest like that where it's like, you know, I've heard this term make big air big again. That would be pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I'm not a big air fan, so it's hard to talk about, honestly. But I don't know. I always just I thought big air, like it getting added to the Olympics and all that, was just kind of a weird one. I'd way rather just big air before the Olympics happened, where they would go to Tokyo and Beijing and all that, and the riders would show up and someone does a double backflip and they're ecstatic. They're loving life, you know. And now like making it like kind of like an Olympic style contest is a little too much in my opinion, because like at the end of the day, like all the riders we're all pushing to learn and do the best tricks very consistently. So when you get it on that format, it's just going to be hard. It's hard to like choose a winner in a big air. It gets really hard.
I kind of like big airs like as a show.
As a show, like a circus act, literally like a circus act.
No, you show up and you go, here, this is snowboarding.
Yeah. everyone
you said,
shares
someone
the
does a double
prize
backflip,
money.
Someone might do an 1800. Right.
Who
on.
cares? Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
awesome,
who
right.
cares?
Get
Like,
Sebby to
do
buck
that.
in there, maybe lay out a lawn dart.
Right. And if
Totally.
you want to see like the styly trick, like best style, and then you have like biggest spin. You know,
Yeah.
to also get people to do that. You know, like as if you just have like, just show up and do whatever. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing fives, and I'll do a double backflip for sure. You know,
Right.
But add like the biggest spin one and stuff.
Chuck at 14.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, just to let them know.
Sure.
Right.
Just to let them know.
But it's like the whole format behind it now. It's like, man, it was so, like you guarantee you ask one of those fans what they want to see. They're like, I want to see Sean do a double backflip. And you're like, yeah, me too. I want to see that too, rather than the 10 back 18s that I just watched.
It's crazy with Arrow. He like podiumed at pretty much every one of those the Toyota Big Airs back in the day, and it was like switch double back
Yeah.
and back 10, and it's like that, and that's kind of what's sweet is watching women's Big Air and stuff is still in that sweet spot where
It's so fun to watch.
It's really
dude.
fun to watch.
It's
still.
so fun.
Yeah. No, I would watch women's over men's all day.
Oh my gosh, in a heartbeat. Watching women's Big Air right now is so epic. It's like right where I think where guys were in like 2012 to 14 ish. And it's just epic. It's like you can add style into it. So they're doing 1080s, pushing for 1260s, 1440s are happening. But it's like, it's slow to the point where you're like watching it and you're like, wow, that was amazing and looked good.
Boom! Nitro Snowboards is back at your favorite snowboard shop. Nitro was founded over 34 years ago by a couple of snowboarders and is owned and operated and run by snowboarders today. Supporting the snowboard culture through responsible business practice by supporting the shops first and developing some of the best boards, boots, and bindings over the last 34 seasons is why Nitro is still around and why we want to keep being here. Nitro co-founder Tommy DeLago said it best, anyone who takes the time to learn how to snowboard is a snowboarder and part of the Nitro family. Nitro has been supporting team riders since day one, and the team is stacked with a global presence of over 40 riders, from Sam Taxwood, Aero Etala, Brian Fox, Marcus Cleveland, Haley Langwin, Elias Elhart, Griffin Siebert, Christy Price, Sean Miskimen, Torgeir Bergen, Brantley Mullins, Benny Urban, Chuan Lee, Dominic Wagner, and a new member to the Nitro family, Iris Pham, people. Let's go. So what are you waiting for? Vote with your dollars this season and support a company whose mission is to support the snowboard community, the people, and the culture. Pick up your new Nitro snowboard gear from your favorite local snowboard shop this season.
Today's episode is sponsored by Insta360, a leader in action cameras and 360-degree technology. Capture all the action on the slopes with the Insta360 X4, the best camera for your snow season. Shoot full 360-degree video in 8K resolution, then choose any angle you want after your run. This camera is a hitter. From immersive POVs to third-person shots of you carving down the mountain, X4 does it all. No filmer, no problem. You can get hands-free 360-degree shots while you ride with the ski pole mount. You'll get over 2 hours of runtime at 5.7K, and it films ice-cold content perfect for your social media in temperatures down to -4 degrees. It's super tough and waterproof for any big crash, and it's so easy to use even with all your gear on. Right now, our listeners can bag a free ski pole mount with any X4 purchase. Head on over to store.insta360.com and use the promo code BOMBHOLE, available for the first 30 purchases only. For more information, be sure to check out the links in the description box. Get yourself that new X4 Insta360.
All right, we're going to take a quick break with a message from our good friends over at Woodward Copper. Now, if you're like Chris and you got a kid, maybe this kid needs to be enrolled in a class to enhance their snowboarding abilities. There's nothing like getting taught by the best, and the coaches over at Woodward Copper got you covered. World-class coaches are going to help your child succeed in every way. With training indoors and out, on and off the snow, your child is going to have the ability to grow and maximize their ability to throw down and do insane tricks. All this and more can be found at the Woodward Copper's Park Rats session. Full day, weekend session. Get your kids some new tricks, maybe make some new friends. They're definitely going to make memories that'll last a lifetime. To learn more, head on over to coppercolorado.com.
One other thing before we move on, we're going to get into trivia here in a hot second. But before we do, I was talking to Malachi, and we were talking about X Games, and I think that would be interesting because I don't think we've talked about this on the show. You just won the most recent X Games, and you kind of had to duke it out with Mark. But one thing that was interesting that Malachi brought up was the day before. You normally are like super light, having fun, but for practice, you like locked in and you were the last person out there practicing, getting ready, and you kind of clicked into a different mode you hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess it didn't really feel like that at the time, you know. It was more one of those things I just found myself struggling. Like, I say I love X Games because of how much practice you get, and I truly do. But sometimes when you're doing the tricks that we're doing, when you start over-practicing them, the smallest things start to become a problem, you know? And I started to find that with the cab 10 I was doing on the side hit. I was like, what the hell is going on? You know, all of a sudden I'm like not really landing it the way I want. And you catch yourself at like 3:30 p.m., you know, in February at Aspen, the sun's setting, and you're just like aggro snowboarding. You know, that's what it felt like, fully aggro. Like the first time I've punched the ground in so long, dude. Like literally, like I don't think I've actually ever punched the ground while snowboarding. I'm like, why are you punching the ground? You landed that one, but you didn't like the way it felt. And I'm like, you know, so I just really wanted that win really badly. And I think that like just maybe it was like pre-contest nerves or something, because I haven't, you know, I've been lucky enough where I've been able to win a couple contests now, and it felt like one of the last ones that I really wanted to get, and it felt like I had all the tricks there, and I'm like, you can't blow this tomorrow. And yeah, I guess maybe I clicked into a little bit of a different thing, but more than anything, like, you know, I think both of us, we try at preseason training camps, we have this run in our mind that we want to stick with throughout the season. It might change a little bit depending on what the courses are, and that was the run that I kind of chose at the beginning of the season, and it was the first time where the course was, you know, I was able to do that actual run, and it was really, I just wanted to land that run, you know. And you don't learn, like when you start getting into these bigger tricks, you don't learn tricks as often as you did when you're 16. You know, like learning tricks is really hard to come by these days. Like it's like they're life-threatening tricks and they're scary as hell and they're gnarly. So like I was able to learn that 18 and in Stubai with Sean when he learned his front 18, and I'm like, you know, I really wanted to add it to a run, and that was the first time I was able to add it to a slopestyle run.
Yeah, that was really cool. And also, I mean, talk about that process too, because you landed all three runs. You landed your first one, and then Mark, I think in his own words, would even probably say that he got gifted a pretty high score, and he put down a heater run, but you could debate whether it was first or second, but it was a fucking heater nonetheless. And then that bumped you down, and then you had to go back to the well and put down a heater. Was that fuel in the fire when you kind of got bumped down and you had to put down another one?
Yeah, it definitely was. And he's such a class act. I love Mark. He's been a mentor to me like so much, it feels like, and a homie I love to hang out with. But he like came up to me at the top and was, you know, we don't choose, no one chooses the scores. And he's like, you should be up there. And I'm like, well, you got it. Just rock with it, you know. But for sure, yeah, I was like, you know, all right, let's go out and do it better. And there was like a couple things I could have cleaned up on. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just your day, it feels like, and it felt like that was just kind of my day. Like, normally I don't know how often I could land that run 3 out of 3 times, pretty perfect every time. And yeah, it just kind of felt like one of those days. And yeah, I was sick. I mean, I going back to Mark, Mark hadn't really done a slopestyle competition since China, it seemed like, and for him to come out of, out of his contest injury grave a little bit and go out there with 3 days of practice and be able to do that just says something to his snowboarding. It's something.
He's a problem.
Yeah. His mindset just seems insane.
It's fucked up.
Like that he can do that.
Insane.
I thought watching that.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, he's a lot like Bon when we're playing Mountain Dell on the golf course. He just locks
It
in.
seems like that. Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's what he's thinking about. He's like, I need to challenge my inner Bon playing Mountain Dell.
Just find it.
Yeah.
You're aware of the hosel.
Yeah, yeah.
You're aware of the hosel.
You're there.
You're aware of the
There's a
It's
flat
not-
block
back
it
that
out.
could
Yeah.
happen.
You block it out.
There's a
It's
flat back
certainly
that's
in
there.
your mind, but you just don't let it be a problem.
Right.
You don't let it take over your mind.
You never let the hosel take over.
Right.
Something that's interesting. I don't mean to keep going.
No, keep
on
going.
but
This is great.
Something that's interesting about X Games that like I'm probably definitely my top 3 wins I'm so hyped about is X Games, and it's awesome, but not a lot of riders get opportunities to go to X Games, it feels like. And, you know, like, yes, it was a gnarly run. I did a very gnarly run there, but there's a lot of guys that do the FIS and the World Tour circuit that didn't get the opportunity to go to X Games that would have challenged me so hard and easily probably could have won it. And, I mean, yeah, I don't really know how that works at X Games, but, you know, a lot of guys don't get opportunities to go there. And, you know, there's a lot of people that do, that should get that opportunity.
Cool. And do you get FIS points for X Games?
Yeah, you do. That one is
Not FIS, but World Tour.
World Tour, which is what we go off. And usually, like Locks Open's 1,000-point contest. I think that one I won 800 points because not all the top riders. It's based on who the top riders go to the event. So not all the top riders, for instance, got invited to X Games. Kind of exactly what I'm talking about.
Actually, this would be kind of something interesting for the viewers if they want to go and look at what we all go off for points. Because I think the only people that know this are the people that are riding.
Yeah.
But there's a website, World Snowboard Points List. If you look that up into Safari or whatever, it'll come up and you can look at the rankings of the competition, of where everyone's standing competitive wise. And I don't know. If I was,
it's cool.
I think it's
cool.
interesting to look at.
WSPL.
Yeah.
So how exactly do they invite X Games? Is it just kind of like who's going to put asses in seats kind of thing? Like, do you know what I mean? Is that kind of, that seems like what it is, right?
I think there's a lot of that.
I think that's part of it. I think they do as much as they can try to stick to the top 10 of the WSPL because that's been something that's been talked about quite a bit. But I do also think that, like who's going to show up to watch these riders, you know? Like if someone in the top 10 that no one really knows, they're not going to put them in. I don't necessarily agree with that as a rider because I think you deserve that spot.
Right.
Up there as a top 10. Me and Red were talking about, like, it's a bummer that we kind of lost some majors. If we're talking in golf terms, right? Of snowboarding, of like, when I was growing up, U.S. Open was the major. Like, that was the Masters, right?
Good point. Yeah.
That was the Masters. That was like,
No
if you win the U.S. Open, like, that is the pinnacle of competitive snowboarding.
Right?
And then you have, like, we were saying the U.S. Open, Locks Open, Dew Tour, X Games.
There was even TTR back in the day, too.
Yeah, way back. Like before our time,
But still.
Big time.
Dew Tour is a 3-stop tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it kind of turned into a
was
one-stopper,
sick when it was
though.
that.
Yep.
But when it was a 3-stop, I mean, growing up watching that, you're like...
But there used to be significantly more contests. Now, like I said earlier, we got Locks Open, we got X Games.
And we
Maybe got Sean White's.
But it's this is why I was going to...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this is what I was going to say. It's going to get really interesting, I think, in these next 5 years with Sean's league coming out. I don't really know what X Games' league is, but I think all these new leagues are nothing but good for the riders and for snowboarding industry, I think. You know, FIS has they hold so much over us, and they hold so much over the U.S. team, but they hold so much over also the other countries as well, because for other countries to go out and do contests, you're going to do something that their Olympic Committee supports. That's the only way they're going to get insurance and have government support and be able to make monies. You know, sponsorships are like pretty hard to come by at times, you know, so they're going to keep rocking with that. And with these other leagues coming around and also working hopefully with the Olympic Committee and FIS and all that, I think it will get sick and it'll only make that Olympic tour and that Olympic circuit better. I mean, I don't...
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think with these contests coming out, you're putting a lot of pressure on FIS to make it actually sick and to make it something that people will want to view and make it viewable. I mean, that's been the problem. And I think
that's the biggest problem right there.
With those ones, it's like, all right, clearly you've been blowing it, FIS. Like, and then these ones come in and be like, all right, now you almost hope they react in a way that's like, okay, like we're going to get it together and do something here. But maybe not, and maybe we just kind of go this other route, which is also great. You know, like I feel like the other route's almost better at this point.
It could be.
You know?
Totally could be.
But, I mean, who knows?
The biggest thing that FIS and the World Cups they've been messing up on for so long, and we've talked about this for so long, is like our parents can't find a live stream to watch this contest. I mean, you have to be a coder to like get to like find a live stream, you know? Like
go to Best Buy Geek Squad.
Yeah, it's insane, but it's like it's so like you watch any Jimmy Two Shoes can figure out how to, do a live webcast. Yet you have people.
We can do them here. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's not that challenging.
And we're doing some like the most amazing snowboard tricks that have ever been done. You're like, let's get a live webcast.
And I
on
would
there.
say this, like as a fan of snowboarding, I want to watch it.
Right.
Like give me something to watch. It's not that hard, but we're like 2 decades behind on, it's like trying to fucking create hype around the contest and find a good broadcast. Like I don't even know when shit's happening because I don't know whoever's running marketing over there or whatever, but it's definitely not like, tune in to
that's
this
where the
thing that's
WSL,
happening.
like if we can try to
Yeah,
relate
right.
things back to the WSL, it's awesome.
Let me buy a jersey. Let's make it fantasy. Like,
Dude.
let's market this. Like, it's not that hard. It's not even like it hasn't been done. I mean, start with the WSL. Look at the NFL. I mean, I know we're not NFL players, but like the marketing's out there, and it can happen. It's just.
I mean, I guarantee if you were to go to Beijing right now and you can buy a jersey, there'd be Mingsu jerseys
all over the place
on the mountain. It's like, why not run a tour like this? It just feels like we're the complete. There's ski racing, part of the FIS, and then snowboarding that's doing really well. It's just like 8 steps below. They just don't really care about it. It's just such old money over there at FIS.
It sometimes feels like we got to do this because the Olympics exist.
Yeah.
And now we own this, and now we're doing this.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. And not to say, like I've said this on the podcast earlier, there's a lot of good people at FIS that are trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard with that establishment, but I'm saying like the people that are within snowboarding in the FIS know what's going on, and they're trying their best, but they're also working for FIS. You know what I'm saying?
And there's limits to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Great topic. Glad we covered that. And now I'm going to get into a section of the show here. It's called Run Through. We haven't done a smelling salt, so this will be good. Run Through Wall
nice.
Trivia.
Welcome to Run Through Wall Trivia.
We haven't even done one yet.
No.
You're fired.
Hey, Red, grab that buzzer and put it in front of you. This is kind of like a rapid fire situation. I'm just going to hit one of these things just because. Ooh. All right. Okay. All right. Now we're rolling. Nice. Bond went in, as he does. Whew. Could maybe do the new sponsor the FIS tour here.
You go golfing with Runkie, you're guaranteed to hit like 5 of those.
Did you go to Runkie's house? You're hitting 10.
Oh, you're right. All right, looks like you guys are ready for Run Through Wall Trivia. So you guys have to hit the buzzer. First person to answer gets it right. The other person has to do a salt, I guess.
Yeah, if you buzz and you're wrong, you also got to do a salt.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I'll be watching your
No,
hands.
actually,
I
if
want
you're
clean buzzes.
or if I actually got that wrong. How we're doing this, you hit the buzzer, and if you get it right, you don't have to do one, and nobody has to do one. But if you get it wrong, then you got to do one. I think I went too easy on you guys, but
You're right.
are you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm locked in.
How many Olympic gold medals does Shaun White have?
I'm going red.
Gold medals? 3.
That's correct.
Oh, Olympic. I was thinking X Games. I was like, whoa.
Oh, you were gonna take a guess at X
Oh,
Games?
I thought I heard X.
His
I just
eyes are
hit. I
watering.
just hit. Dude,
So
look at me.
crazy.
Yeah,
You think I'm in
Okay,
any
next
state of
question.
mind?
Focus up, boys. In golf, what is the term referring to shooting 2 under par on a hole?
Eagle.
Wow, it seemed like he didn't know the answer, and then he came to him.
No, I
Pulled
knew
it
about
out,
it.
pulled it out.
I was thinking albatross for some reason. That's 3.
Okay. Who was the first female to do a cab double cork 1080?
Haley Langland.
That's correct.
I didn't give you an opportunity. though.
You were first though.
It's his girlfriend, dude. That's rigged. That's rigged.
Okay. You have to name the rider and a trick. Name 2 tricks that have been done over Chad's Gap.
Over Chad's Gap, back 7, Gabe Ferguson, and back 12, Sage Gothenburg.
That's correct. It seemed like you didn't have a second one there.
Well, I was thinking Nick with the Todio, but I don't know if he did Todio. I didn't think he had a trick on Chad's Gap.
I can't remember if he landed. He did pyramid. No, you were talking about pyramid gap.
Oh,
Jared did front 12. Nick did back 10.
You guys, well, let's keep focused
I
here.
haven't got
Stay
one,
focused. Okay, you might have this one. Has Shaun Fitzsimons ever watched the snowboard movie?
You can have that.
No.
Okay, who won men's X Games Big Air last winter?
I'm
You gotta
too
wait
quick
for it
now.
to
I'm tapping
finish,
too quick.
dude.
You can, yeah.
I
I'll
think
take one
we're
of these.
just gonna do. You can tab whenever if you feel like you know the rest of the question.
Men's X Team's big air. I don't know, honestly.
Oh, you got to hit assault.
I fucked
you got to
it
hit
up.
assault.
You haven't hit assault yet, motherfucker over there. Come on.
Well, he didn't get anything wrong, technically. It's when
Well,
you get it wrong. I changed the rules halfway through.
Last
Stop me
year
penalty.
was it Tyga?
That is correct. But I forgot to hit the buzzer's actually for red. I forgot we had the buzzer. What is another term for a hole-in-one?
Ace.
That's correct. Which quarterback has 7 Super Bowl wins or rings?
Tom Brady.
That's correct.
You wanted that though. You wanted.
Yeah, that was
to
for
be
my own
said.
personal.
That was for you.
for my own personal gratification. Who was the first snowboarder to land a backside triple cork 1440?
McMo.
That's correct. This one's big for your street credibility here. This one's big. Focus up, guys. This could be huge for both of you guys. Which snowboarder filmed the first backside 270 to fakie on a handrail?
Louis Paradis.
That's correct. Reggie. That was big for you.
I'll do a smelling salt for you.
I can thank.
I wasn't gonna get that.
I can thank the Decline Instagram for that. They've been kind of going on a. They've been going on a little Louis. Yeah, I mean he's also, in my opinion, the GOAT of the streets.
I like that. Okay, name 2 pro snowboarders that share the exact same name. Who got it?
That was me, but
He hasn't got
I
one.
kind of just got antsy here. Hold on.
5, 4, 3.
Mark McMorris, Mark Landry. Mark and Mark. Am I wrong?
Exact same name.
Oh.
First and last.
Oh, Jeremy Jones and Jeremy Jones.
There it is. There it is.
Of course, dude.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Name a
So I
trick.
gotta-
Yeah, you got to hit assault. Name a trick.
We can do a pub beer shotgun over these smelling.
Yeah,
salts.
we can do that. I like that.
kinda cool.
Name a trick that Nick Baden did over Pyramid Gap.
Back 10.
That's correct. Okay, last one. Todd Richards invented a trick known as a wet cat. What is this trick? 5,
Like,
4.
Is it like a shitty back 5 in the half pipe?
Close. It's close. It's kind of it's a shitty back 9, I guess, if you're gonna put it like that. It's a back 5, but he would kind of unwind in the last 316 to 9. And I
You'd
believe
avoid a heli dick.
yeah, I was gonna say
it's
we
an
kind of
avoiding-
call that the heli dick.
yeah.
But it's an avoidance of the heli dick.
Right, it's an
Yeah.
open up spin. Yeah.
Yep. Back 9. And I believe who invented the name of that? Billy Anderson, I think,
yeah.
did actually.
sounds right.
Sidebar. You guys did pretty good, actually.
That was pretty fun.
How was your
Red
experience?
one.
Red one?
Yeah.
So losers got a shotgun a beer or no?
I'll gun, yeah. Down.
Grab me one. I'm in for it. I'm not even, dude. That's the best
I'll
part
go-
about coming
I'll
to
go-
Salt
I'll go
Lake. I
grab
never
him.
have a
I'll go
car,
grab
so
him.
I'm just
I
chilling.
got him.
All right, the boys are going to celebrate Run Through Wall Trivia by gunning a pub beer.
Cheap fun.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheap fun beer.
They know where to find me.
Yep.
Cheers.
All right. Yeah, Bond. Bond's looking for a new sponsorship deal from Pub Beer. I think you're a perfect candidate.
I'm so down. I'm so down.
All right, boys. Let's keep this
back.
this thing from derailing here.
That's Oregon. Come on.
You know,
it's gonna get on rails.
still, let's fire up a couple Patreon questions.
What are we thinking? You got any in mind?
Oh, you know what's a good one? Here we go. I'm going to change gears. This is from Cruz Rodriguez, who's a Grom.
Oh,
by the
that's
way.
our boy. That's our boy, Cruz.
So you
Come
know,
on.
you guys know Cruz. He's a G.
Oh, yeah.
Cruz is an
Air
absolute
horn.
G.
I call Cruz.
That's for Cruz.
Yeah.
All right, fire it up, Silk.
All right. Cruz says, "Did you have any trouble with schoolwork when you were my age? Keeping up seems impossible and so stupid. Did you ride as much when you were as young as you do now? How do you feel about youth snowboarding now compared to when you were small? Was it the same?"
School.
Red would, yeah, I can take the school one here. Schoolwork is hard. I will say that. A big thing that I would recommend for you, Cruz, is keep in really good communication with your teachers and just sort of tell them what's going on so they can send you what you're missing or the schoolwork that you need to get done while you're on the road. And just, if your teachers are cool, they'll recognize it. If not, keep doing what you're doing. It's fine. And then as I got older into high school, freshman year, I did online half the time, in school half the time. And then I went sophomore year full time, which was too hard. I missed like 90 days of school. But I kept in really good communication with my teachers. And then I went full online junior, senior year. Luckily for you, you are like kind of living in an era where online's super accessible. Mm-hmm. But my biggest thing is like going to school, I would just make sure you are like you have to be on top of it with your classes and with your teachers. You have to like, when you have your schedule, make it very apparent what times you're going to be missing and what you need to like continue to keep going to school and have them send you work. And teachers always appreciate that. They appreciate you like going and doing cool stuff like what you're doing now, and then they really appreciate the extra effort that you put in to care about school and keep doing it by reaching out and making that happen.
Well, and especially now because, well, I mean, kind of always, but when you're traveling, one of the big perks when you're being a snowboarder, you're traveling so much, which an average kid usually doesn't get to see. You know, it's like you're getting your own life lesson while you're getting to snowboard. And some, you know, you could say that that's more beneficial than actually going to school in a lot of ways. But, you know, I think explaining that to your teachers is, I hope they get that, you know, going over to Asia, you know, the age of 12 and 13, you know, like Cruz is doing is insane. And seeing how, you know, the world works and how public transportation, all these, just seeing all that's incredible.
Yeah, you're learning so much more. I mean, school is important, obviously, but it is far more experience going and doing what you're doing, traveling the world and snowboarding and making new friends and meeting people from different walks of life. You know, you get a lot of experience from that. And then I had a 5th grade teacher that my parents were pulling me out of class to go ride as a powder day, and she was like upset. Yeah. And I remember being I was like, what the, like, that's so lame, like, whatever. And my parents, like, backed me up. They're like, you're in 5th grade. Like, it's hard to see it when you're in 5th grade. It's not a big deal to miss one day of class or a couple days of class to go ride and enjoy yourself. And, like, especially if this is something that you want to do for the rest of your life, you know, you're kind of fostering a career here. But it's, like, important, like, I don't know. It's hard. It's like you got to recognize that, like, you're going to get really good experience doing that. And it's, in the grand scheme of things, school matters, but it also matters to get that experience and do that. But it just, because I think school matters, you should try to communicate with your teachers. And that's also great life skills as well. The communication side, it's like
with your sponsor,
staying on top of that, you know, like staying on top of, communication is huge with your teachers, and they will. If you have good communication with your teachers, they will respect what you're doing.
100%. If you can do both, that's the ideal world. One thing that's interesting, too, is not everybody, you know, if you have an opportunity to do something in snowboarding and you're like, that's an opportunity not everybody has, and you're getting good and you're seeing that this thing could be a career, you can always go back to school. That's the thing too, is like, totally. If you have this opportunity where you're able to do it, school, you can go to school later. Your body only deteriorates. So, you know,
I mean, I can speak on that. I did not graduate high school. I've been snowboarding for so long. And, you know, one of the things that's been not holding me up, but been not having me go back to school right now is that, like, snowboarding is not going to last forever, and school will always be there from what I understand of it. You know, it's like, I can only snowboard for so long. My body can only sustain this for so long. You know, I'm going to do what I can feel is good right now and try to make a big movement in snowboarding. And, you know, maybe down the line when I actually know what I want to learn and what I want to pursue, maybe I'll go that direction.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I said, like you're in such a sick time where online is so
online
accessible now. Like I'm going to college right now through the University of Utah while I'm snowboarding. It's like, and I'm taking my time through it because of snowboarding. I'm traveling so much. It's so hard, like with this competition schedule, to like take full classes, but I'm taking like 2 to 3 classes a semester online, and it's been chill. I mean, I'm probably going to graduate when I'm like 28. Yeah. Anywhere between 26 and 28, that's kind of my goal, is in that realm. But I don't feel bad about that. I think
What's
that's
it
fine.
matter?
You know,
Yeah.
like whatever. And then it's just something that opens up doors later in life. And also you have to recognize through snowboarding, if you are like, there are different avenues outside of snowboarding within snowboarding. I mean, Granny's here is a great example of it's incredible what you have going on here. It's insane. Like, you are the voice of snowboarding now.
Thanks, Bob.
But that was also just from
being a pro snowboarder.
from being a pro snowboarder
the
and
parts.
making great connections through snowboarding. And there's also that avenue. I mean, I think a lot of life is also making good connections and being a good homie and just kind of, I don't know, get in where you fit in type of deal and understanding that realm of things. It's it's not like when your body's done, team manager, Grandy's is the best example ever. And he's really, snowboarding needed this and here we are. And he saw that snowboarding needed something like this and the perfect person for it, obviously. But there's so many avenues.
Well, take K2.
After.
Take K2, for example. The one thing that's interesting, I like what you said with it's not what you know, it's who you know. I think a lot of times there might be the mentality, I'm going to go to college and then I'm going to get a job in the industry. Well, if you don't know people in the industry, it's going to be challenging to get a job.
Right.
So immersing yourself in the industry while going to school or, is a great way. I'm such a firm believer in it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's look at Mark Wilson. I don't know if he went to school. But he rode for K2 forever, and they needed a team manager. He understands the snowboarding. He understands what a good snowboarder looks like.
Right.
He, understands how these things work. And so then K2...
And school's not going to teach that,
not gonna teach
you know?
that, yeah.
I think you can look around and be like if you immerse yourself in an industry and it's easy as someone that is a writer, it's easy to immerse yourself in something you love.
Yep.
And if you love it, it's going to be you're not even working ever. And then you just continue to foster these relationships, enjoy snowboarding, but just from a different perspective, which is the coolest part that snowboarding offers, I think.
Another question that Cruz had that we didn't touch on is, as pro snowboarders, do you snowboard as much as you did when you were a kid?
No. You don't. I
Can't.
Yeah, I want to. I when I was in my 14 to 16 range, I feel like I was snowboarding more than I ever have, and it was awesome. I felt so good on my snowboard, and then just other things end up coming up or whatever. But now when I really want to, people are always talking about getting in the gym and doing all these other things. The biggest thing that I've ever seen that works is just getting on your snowboard over and over. And that's what I try to do when I am coming up for a contest and stuff. Whether it's going out with your family during the holidays or whether it's going to a training camp with the U.S. team or whatever, it's just getting feet on the board.
Getting reps.
Reps.
Yeah.
Avoid flat back.
I feel like when I was around yeah. Or have a couple, builds character.
Yeah. Dude, this is actually good. Yeah. I feel like, dude, how you end up becoming a good snowboarder is taking slams when you're younger. Taking slams when you're younger, you learn how to get out of getting out of really getting injured, and I think that's a pretty monumental point.
Yeah, I think it's also dying and coming back. Honestly, that
Dude,
is
all the greats
It's insane.
fucking die.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
They get bodied. All the
the
greats get
best
bodied.
example ever, honestly, is Mick Mo.
Yeah.
Straight up, dying and coming back, and just relentless.
Dude, that dude's got injuries that go for ages.
You cannot stop this guy from snowboarding. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like Lil Wayne. They can't stop me even if they stop me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's impossible.
Yeah. No, you can't. No, it's yeah. Where were we going with that?
But also look at Aero Etzela. We interviewed him the other day. Dude, he's got no cartilage in his knees. His knees all fucked up. Anybody would tell you stop snowboarding, but you can't stop him. He's like, I'm gonna go get a trick. I won't be able to walk for 5 days, but I'm getting a trick.
Yeah.
I think if you want it bad enough, you just figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. And modern medicine. Come on. We're older, dude. We're gonna be just
Pretty
fine.
incredible.
Trust me.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm banking on.
Yeah.
With advances in modern science.
It won't be crazy to live 200, 250.
Now, do you find yourself slowing down a little bit in your older age, maybe getting off hill a little earlier? Well, you could be dehydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. And that goes up when you're at elevation, when you're in the mountains. So I drink Bubs Hydrate or Die hydration packets. There's 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. There's no added sugar. There's no artificial flavors. Let me tell you, when I'm hydrated, I ride better. I can ride longer. I have more energy. All in all, my vitality is just better. So if you're interested in picking up some Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die, head on over to bubsnaturals.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. And stay hydrated, people, with Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die.
Okay, big news from our friends over at Mammoth Mountain. They are now open for the 24-25 season, and they've got big changes. A reinvigorated, brand new main park layout with new features, more jumps, and brand new jibs. Mammoth is also bringing back the hemlocks on the backside of the mountain. You're going to have to hike a little bit. You're going to have to unstrap, but don't worry, because picture this: a freestyle big mountain paradise with a little bit of help from park crew. If you like what you're hearing, check out mammothmountain.com for current deals and to check out their loaded events calendar for the season. That's mammothmountain.com. All right, we're going to take a quick intermission here to talk to you about our good friends over at Pub Beer, who just happen to be the official beer of questionable decision-making and cheap fun. That's right. You heard it here first. Whether you're just having a couple, maybe you're watching the game, Pub Beer's a great option. Cheap fun. Maybe you need 50. Did you just get dumped? Pub Beer's got you covered. Cheap fun every time. Pub Beer.
So speaking of dying and coming back to life, you've been battling a pretty severe pelvis injury, right? How's that thing coming along, Sean?
It's been good. I sat out last year. Thought that was kind of good. I don't know, kind of saw the landscape of snowboarding, like on both sides, just Instagram parts, contests, you see all that. But I don't know, it's been good. As you get older, you realize maybe a little more time in the gym is good, just for taking hits and stuff. But I'm feeling real good now. And
how was it the year off? Was it challenging not being able to go to the contest and having to sit on the couch?
Yeah, I mean, that is challenging. I mean, I think that snowboarding is a lot of highs and lows, and like you have like your highs of like winning a contest or something like that, or like learning a new trick, and you kind of feel on top of the world, and then you might take a weird slam and then you're injured, and like that's a big low for sure. I think kind of dealing with those lows and like those highs and lows, just trying to stay as equal as you can. Like I heard it on here too. Stay off social media when you're in those kind of lulls of like, because you end up just getting bummed. You're like, God, I want to snowboard so bad. But a lot of it is, and I'm not the best advocate, but try to do as much PT and like get actually ready before you get back, because you like will get like to a certain point where you can ride, but like try not to go crazy, because it's hard to like restrain yourself, because you're like, God, I just like, you had all this time to think about the things that you want to do and all these other things, but just try to like toe the line and have like this gradual like get back, and then you can kind of go hard again. But I think for me is like, it was kind of cool to take a step back. I think that's what injuries give you, is take a step back and look at like, just look at things and where you want your, where you see your riding in that landscape and where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that. So you've been smashing contests, and I do feel like there is an expiration date on slopestyle contests. Where do you want to go when you hang up the competitive boots, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, my big thing, I'd love to go film some video parts. I mean, Red and Brock took me out in the backcountry the year before I got hurt, and it was like literally everything I dreamed that snowboarding could be. Like, it was the best thing ever. I'm a battle guy. I like to go out and like try to get something and like do that, and that's kind of what I saw out there, that you could just like, I like just it's on you like 100% of like doing that, and like having the camaraderie and everything that goes with like going out and doing going in the backcountry and doing all that stuff and all the necessary steps. It's like exhausting, and it's long days, and I don't like going out there. I was kind of like, wow, like this this is no joke, and there's so much that goes into it that's not really even talked about. I feel like getting that one clip is like, it's insane amount of effort and insane amount of effort from your boys and everyone else that goes in to try to help you get that clip. But I like that part of it. I like the mission of it. That's, I guess, to sum it up, that's where I'd want to go with my snowboarding, is that realm. But like we were talking about Taekwondo, like I still am very passionate about like doing big tricks. Like maybe not going past an 1800 or even like even going to 1800, right? But like going like
spending into military time.
Going to those training camps though, and like before backcountry, like if you're just filming backcountry, like go to those training camps and like get reps and like treating backcountry like you would a competition season or something like that, like being very serious, like in that realm of things, not like being like, okay, now it's like time off, which I'm not saying anyone really does, but I'm saying I would like to approach it. Like I think Sage has been a good example of that. He's going to training camps. He's like, all right, I know I have a big backcountry, like I'm trying to make a sick part. Let's go out, let's go to Sauce Fe and let's do like a 1260s, 14s, like whatever it's going to take to get to that point and be like, feel ready for the season, because it's not, in backcountry, you're not snowboarding a ton. Like
some
a lot of it
backcountry
is,
some backcountry riders don't even start riding till like January.
right. Like, and you just don't have as much time on board. It's like insane with contests. Like you have, me and Frank were talking about this in New Zealand. Like you just have so much time. Like if you're snowboarding contests, you are snowboarding all the time, always getting reps. And then when you go in the backcountry, you're like, or filming street, you're not really snowboarding that much. It's a lot of it's like setting up the spot, and then you like go and you try whatever, you battle forever, and then you go to the next spot. It's just a lot that goes into that. It's like trying to maintain those reps is like how I've always felt about things. Like as much as you can, like time on board is so important, and like getting that before the season starts or during the season, you know, like you have an off day or whatever, like go try to like get some reps and like figure things out before you get to that jump, I guess. But that's where I would like to.
Yeah, don't let your skills decline. Yeah. I think it's also, going back to what Cruz said too, it's like once people start filming, their skills kind of plateau generally. And so it's like when you get really good when you're young, you can always, those skills are transferable. Whether it's rails or it's slope style, they're still transferable. You just have to learn how to operate a snowmobile and find spots or however you want to do that. But yeah, getting good when you're young is the key. Don't start film. I wouldn't push people to start filming too early, you know?
Right. And keep those reps up. Like there's no reason to stop.
Yeah.
There's no reason to stop doing 14s. Like if you want to see a 14-year part, like do like, I mean, Mick Mo did that. Like he's doing 14s in his part because he's still doing 14s all the time, comp jumps, you know? Like, I think that's how I'd want to approach something like that.
You got a take, Reggie?
No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I think that you see it a lot with contest snowboarders and snowboarders in general that go filming and stuff. They're like, yeah, I got this 6-month period where I'm going to go try to film the best video part I can. But if you don't approach it with the right ways and the most like professional ways that you can of like going and trying to make sure those tricks are dialed, if you're going to go do a jump part or something like that, it feels like you're not really setting yourself up for success too much, you know? And that's easy for me to say right now because we're traveling 8 months out of the year going and doing these awesome training camps and stuff. But it does seem like if you want to film, and I don't, you know, like, yeah, it seems like right now, if you want to film a very good video part, you go early season, you try to get your tricks locked in, and you try to, you know, you show up and you're worried about how the lip looks, not about what the trick is going to be, you know? Because it's already, you know, it's hard enough to land in the backcountry for myself, you know? But the trick for me is like you get it around and hopefully you land, and take as many consequences and as many things as you can out of that day, and go from there. And I think a lot of that comes from doing tricks on hard pack at times.
Absolutely.
I mean, what you're just saying, it's like try to have some variety too, like because you always get to a spot like when we were building stuff in WIS, and I was like,
What can you land right now?
What am I gonna do? Like, this is more of a cab backside. Like, what could I do? And then you got to recognize, like, a lot of people in your crew are gonna have similar trick selection as you, and you go, okay, like, he chose that, and you're like, oh god, maybe I'm just filming a second angle here at this point, you know. But like trying to get some variety there, like we were talking about, like Takaru, like that guy, if he wanted to go backcountry based on what he's been doing. I mean, that's how you play it. Like trying to do the big spins, trying to always messing with shit. Keep it
fresh.
Keep it diverse, you know.
Yeah. I got a hot take. I want to hear what you guys think on this. So I grew up watching absinthe videos and all these videos, and generally there'd be a few park jumps in there. And we're not talking just random park jumps. Like you think about the Hemsdall kicker, I brought it up earlier, but they'd film it from the side, silhouette, big jacker, and it was a filming session on a giant park jump. And I always thought it complemented the video part. And there's a lot of purists would say that no park in a POW shot, but I thought it really in a powder part, so to speak. I thought it displayed. It was a nice change of a canvas in terms of not just being like the white backcountry. It was a great way to display somebody's style in the air. I always thought it complemented a video part. And when I look at it, I'm not thinking about like a Red Bull training camp where it's just like, just a random jump that a bunch of people that ride for an energy drink company are chucking on, but like a nicely set up, beautiful landscape of a jump. What's your guys' take on having park jumps in a video part?
I personally love it. I think it's great. I think that, when you watch a backcountry part, a lot of the jumps can look very similar, and I think hopefully they don't. Hopefully you're hitting big stuff and it looks way different and stuff, but I think it's awesome to like go to a regular resort and maybe that resort builds you a special feature, a special park like Videograss at Big Bear did a whole setup. I like can't wait to watch that movie. I know coming out tonight at La Paloma or whatever, but that's gonna be fun to watch, to like see what pro snowboarders can do on like what the average person, average snowboarder gets to go ride on. I think that's really awesome. I've always been a big fan of that. And growing up, watching movies, to be completely honest, I had a hard time liking powder. I was such a jump head and such like I wanted to see the next big spin and stuff. And when Aroetala would go and do the, double backside rodeos and stuff, or Travis Rice and his movies would go to New Zealand and hit jumps, I think that's such a fun little breakup at times.
Right. No, and I completely agree. I think it needs to be like what you were saying. It needs to be like a jacker. Like it needs to be.
Yeah, it needs to be sick.
It needs to like almost not make sense how big this jump is. Like honestly, if it's gonna be in a video part, but that's what you want. Just like 100-foot switchback 5. Like that is so
it's
dope.
Insane.
And you have all the time in the world just to be like lay into some poke or something like.
You hit up Brock, have him guinea it.
It'd be pretty hard to honestly beat those like standard sessions in Norway. It'd be pretty hard to beat a park session like that. Like Kazu, when there's this one clip when he's wearing the pink beanie, and it's that big ass flat top jump. You're like, I don't know if the knuckle's ever gonna come in this clip. He's doing like a front 9, I think. I'm like, I really don't know if the knuckle's ever gonna come. Right. Like, it's insane how long he's going.
It looks like a runway for an airplane, dude. It's insane. And it honestly looks like CGI.
Yeah, it does.
Dude, also think about pre-drone when they get the bird in the air for the park shoot.
So
just
sick.
Flexing dick up there. Like,
dude.
birds in the air, birds in the air. Yeah. Send red.
My first launch I ever went to in Park City, that was the last. I think that was.
It's good.
That was the last, maybe the last helicopter launch or super park or whatever, but that was an insane intensity when the helicopter comes out. That was like my first, like there's people lined up down that, it's called like King's Crown or something at Park City, that like slope style lane or whatever it was. People are just lined up watching Ben Ferguson and Nils Midnick and all these people going like doubles. It was crazy. That was a nuts thing.
Do something, dude. Like
Bring the copter back.
Yeah.
Blow out of your bonnies, dude. Scotty Lego. Straight up. I think it's cool. Like, it's a cool move.
No, blowing out your bindings is badass.
It's the sickest thing.
I don't want to do that, but that's,
Yeah, you need to bring the copter back just for the energy.
No, but I mean, you can't just you can't throw a park shoot in a video part. That's not a huge jump.
No, but I will say there is something to be said about just like a park shoot with the group of riders that filmed, whether it's a credits thing or something, showing them having fun. Like, I think how the Videographs one will maybe go, could be completely wrong, but just like showing that group of riders riding in the park, enjoying stuff.
But kind of like what you said, Grandy's, was just the relatable factor there. You know, like I go up to the mountain, there's a park. You know, like and then seeing really good riders on a park is very relatable. At least, especially for me growing up, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the success of like Arthur Longo or with his side hit Euphoria and stuff, where it's like it's off the side of the run, and I think there's such a draw because you're like, I could hit that, but I couldn't go 80 feet like Arthur. Or Scott Stevens, the same thing with a picnic table. You're like, everybody's got a picnic table. Not everybody can do what Scott does on a picnic table. So I do think that when there's where sometimes the cheese wedge in the backcountry isn't as relatable as that stuff.
No, I think you're totally right about that, though. I mean, Scott Stevens stuff has actually always been insane. You're actually just sitting there second guessing how that worked out.
All right, boys, we're gonna get into a fun segment. Silk, you know what we're hitting?
I think it might be time for Name That Video Part.
Now I'm screwed.
Well, hold on, guys. Before we get into Name That Video Part, we actually have a presenting sponsor, Turtlebox. They're back delivering the best sounding, most durable portable speakers available. And I actually have the Gen 2 portable speaker right here. We got the white one. And just look at this thing. It's beautiful. We got the Bomb Hole logo on the back. And you might not be able to get the Bomb Hole logo on yours, but you actually can customize it. I was checking out their website. They got tons of colors. You can customize the front and the back and the handle to make yours look unique. Turtlebox Gen 2 portable speaker is 100% waterproof and boasts best-in-class audio quality. It's got over 20 hours of playtime. That is nearly the entire day. As a plus, you can pair multiple Turtlebox speakers together at the same time for a true A/B surround sound audio experience. Simply put, the Turtlebox is an extremely fun product designed for days on the mountain, on the water, in the backyard, and everywhere in between. So definitely go check out Turtlebox. Get your eyes on the Gen 2 portable speaker, and let's get into Name That Video Part.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, you aren't expected to do well, you know, because you.
Oh man!
But if you do,
I do kind of like that free pass. I feel like Core Lords
Core Lords
get. Like, if you don't get it, you kind of get owned. But then
Core Lords aren't listening to this anyway, boys. Let's be honest.
I'll be shocked.
I hope they're not.
I'll be shocked.
No, I'm just saying the podcast in general. I wasn't shitting on you guys. Okay, here we go.
I hope you're shitting on us. That'd be way better, honestly.
9-1. Oh, fuck.
They should listen.
Just kidding. I didn't say anything. All right, let's play this song. If you can recognize what it's from, stop looking at the board. You guys know it?
No, I'm gonna go with Bjorn Lines.
Do you know what video? It is in that realm.
No, I was
no
gonna
idea.
go with like a Volcom.
That's correct.
Art.
That's correct. You're close.
Is it? It's not Mr. Plant, is it?
No.
Yeah. I'm done. 9191.
There it is.
Well,
I'm gonna
that was
claim
my
that.
two guess. That was my two.
I'm claiming that
No,
as a win.
You can't give me that as my win though, because you gave me a win on the last time on the show, and I was like, dude, that was not a win.
I don't even remember. We've done so many
That's
goddamn
the
shows.
contest boarding getting.
Yeah, that's a contest win.
No.
No, I refuse.
It's a little bit of a Max Perot win. Too soon. Too
So
soon.
what?
Too soon.
Wait,
Too
is
soon.
it?
Sorry.
It is Bjorn.
You the first one, dude. and you gave it to
What's
him.
that? There's only one. I only did one for you guys. You guys are on a team.
Oh, we could have worked together there. Was it Bjorn?
It was 9191 in the beginning. It's like the opening segment.
Oh,
So it's technically Geeky. So,
Well, dude,
I mean, it's kind of.
I'm not feeling good about this at
Technically,
all
we didn't-
now.
Well, you guys did get bomb hole packs. I put them next to your chair. Thanks. It's kind of a thanks
Right
for coming
on.
on the show.
Dude,
What?
I wanted to bring this up.
Okay.
So you sent me a box of hats.
Yep.
It's much appreciated. Really appreciate it. But I liked he went to auto.
Yeah, the old hats. We had some bad fits.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. The old hats, they felt like they were riding on top of my head, and so I couldn't even wear them because it was too much. But now the new bomb hole hats fit nicely, and I like it.
I'm going to touch on this briefly because this is something as a company owner that you learn. You have growing pains, but we did this giant order of hats, and we designed them all, and we sent them all to our manufacturer. They sent back samples. These samples were perfect, absolutely perfect, exactly what we wanted. Then we ordered the freaking thousands of hats. They show up. They're all fucked up. Every single one of them was not the same size as the sample. And so I think that we changed manufacturers, and now we have these auto hats, and they're more expensive, but they fit way better. So if anybody bought one of those hats, that is what happened. And I apologize if they were too small. Some people like a small fit, but I personally hated those hats too. So
I like the brim. I like it to eat my head.
Yeah, you want to.
I like that.
Head.
And these new ones, I just tried one out over there. Money.
I like that. Okay.
Money.
Bond, appreciate that. Part 2, name that video part, is for the listeners. If you know this part, comment on the thumbnail photo on Instagram of these two dinguses, and that's where we pick our winner. We need video and rider. Here we go. Okay, thank you guys for playing.
I love Modest Mouse.
Name that video part. You know, it's a fun topic right now. Ryan Runkie. We are all, he's our guy.
Yep.
He's an agent for the listeners. What's your favorite thing to do that annoys Ryan Runkie, Red?
My favorite thing?
What gets under his skin?
Randomly, and this might be kind of a asshole move now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll randomly, since he's my good buddy and my agent, I'll go to a gas station and take pictures of product in the gas station saying, what about this company? What about this one? Slim Jim? How about that one? And I'll just kind of spam him with those. Mm-hmm. And usually doesn't end up with a sponsorship, but, it's good.
Yeah, I actually have a note here that says too late dog as well.
Too late dog. That's actually kind of a funny one.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Too late dog. So when I was coming up, I needed an agent. Red, I think it might have been you, or it could have been Luke, but one of you guys put me on. And I sent a DM out to Runkie, and I was kind of like, hey, like, I'm not looking for you to be my representation, but I'm trying to sort of make my way through what's going on. We've met like one time before, you might not remember, but if you could point me in the right direction of things, that'd be awesome. And then he responded, he's like, I got you, dog. Don't worry about it. I'm putting you on the team. And I was like, what? Let's fucking go. So hyped. And then we were supposed to have like some sort of meeting, or something was supposed to happen where we were going to get in contact. Didn't happen. And months went by. And then I'm like, okay, this guy has forgotten about me. No problem. I'm like, I'm sure this guy has a lot on his plate. I wasn't even asking for representation in the first place, but he brought it up. So I was like, okay, no problem. And then so I end up going with a different agent, and it was all good. Yeah, no problems there. And then literally signed with the agent, and then the next day he reached out and he was like, yo, can you jump on a call like tomorrow? And I was like, too late, dog.
I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Too late, dog.
And now it's all good. But it was honestly hilarious. Too late, dog.
That's incredible.
He's like the hot chick that found his way.
Mm-hmm. And then it all worked. Then you guys sorted it. You guys sorted it out.
Sorted it out. Love that guy. Yeah. He's the man.
Terrible at golfing.
He's really not.
Terrible at golfing.
I hope Runkie watches this and hears me say this, but how many gimmies are you gonna get through a match? Seriously,
Listen, a 5-footer has never been a gimme.
Seriously,
A gimme
put me
is
down
a
for a birdie.
footstep.
I don't think this guy's ever 3-putted in his life.
dude.
It's
No.
not possible.
No.
It's always put me down for a part. Wait,
What-
scratching
hold
your
up.
head? Are,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
serious? Are we sure about
You're
that?
doing one of these. You go
Yeah.
1.
Yo, Runkie, you went out on that drive, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you were line 3 off the tee box if I'm doing my math right.
No, I mean I'm not a mathematician, but that's definitely
You're
interesting.
sitting there punching the wall right now listening to
Certainly
this.
interesting. And then
These fuckers. I do everything for these guys. What the fuck?
I'm gonna bring up one more thing, just to get under his skin. But he called me. He shot like a 91, maybe. Was it 92?
Allegedly.
It was around like late 80s, early 90s shot. Right.
Allegedly.
His score, worst ever played. And I'm like, worst you've ever played.
91. I'm not bummed with that.
91 sounds like what I walk off the course with most of the time, and I've played with you.
Runkie, we've seen your drive. 205 yards isn't anything to
If
be
I'm going,
you know?
yeah, if I'm going high 80s, dude, I'm pretty excited.
That's a good
I'm
day.
like, all right, that's a fine day.
Yeah.
Low 80s, whoa.
This doesn't happen a lot.
What happened? Let's try to find that again.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
You
was.
know, people are big on like scheduling a call that are busy. You know, with Runkie, I'm a big cold call guy. I'm a big cold call guy.
I'll hit that too.
I just get on there, boom. You know, he's got like 17 Zoom calls every
Right.
day.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he picks up and he's really annoyed because he's got like 4 minutes and I'm calling about something that's like just not important at all, it really brings me so much joy.
No, he's a busy guy. Dude, yeah, but he does.
What do you need?
He
What do you
does
need?
call back.
He's always
though.
got the time of
If
day.
I
He
had,
does always call back.
if I had $1 for every time I call him cold calling and he sends me a text halfway through it ringing on a meeting, let me call you in 10. I'd be fucking up. I'd
a
be
rich man.
We have 30 racks all over this place, man. We'd be living.
We'd be living. He's actually the best.
No,
Runkie.
he's awesome.
We love
No,
you.
yeah. Shout out
incredible.
Runkie.
But
He's
we
the man.
also like
He's
to
the
cut
man.
you down at the same time.
Right.
And you know
We'll
what?
do the
Also,
same.
one
That's what
last
good
thing.
friends
He's
do,
a
though.
Chiefs fan. I can't wait for them to just grenade.
Trip
You will
and
never
fall.
see that.
We will see that.
I don't.
I'm a
it's gonna
Patriots
be
fan. I'm a Patriots fan. I
know.
lived through the
No, but
Brady era.
How long did
and I watched it crash and burn.
It lasted for a long time.
It did last.
It
for a long
lasted
time.
too long.
But let me tell you,
Some would
I'm in
argue.
the depths right now. The Patriots
Right.
suck.
They're
ass.
bad.
They're
They're
bad.
bad.
And I can't wait for. I want Runkie to. I want to bring him down with me. I want him down in the
Right.
depths because he's riding a little too high.
Right.
He's flying too close to the sun.
No, that's fair, but it just doesn't seem like the Chiefs are going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
That's the problem.
They're there. Yeah,
That's
they're
the problem.
staying.
And I'm
They're
just gonna.
there to
And,
stay.
and the problem is, I'm gonna hear about it
Oh, yeah.
because Runkie's gonna let me hear about it.
When they were playing at
forever.
they played at SoFi last week, right? Yeah, that's one that Runkie
But you
went to.
also gotta recognize that when the Chief dynasty tanks, all you hear about is back in the day from
Yeah.
Runkie.
You know,
You're gonna hear
You're
about-
never
you're gonna hear
never
about
gonna
that.
leave it.
No,
It's gonna be around for a while, maybe our whole life.
I mean, I still talk about Legion of Boom with the Seahawks. So I'm still talking about Cam Chancellor. Come
Dude,
on,
Seahawks are looking good though.
yeah, Cam Chancellor, hardest hitting.
No one
safety
talks
in
about the
league.
Browns when they were good. Never happened. Never really was a thing.
Which makes sense you wouldn't talk about because if it doesn't happen, I mean Jim Brown.
What
He had
about-
Jim Brown in the '60s. Was that '50s maybe?
Poor Myles Garrett is just pushing right now for no reason.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to change gears here, and we're going to call your dad, Red, and see if he picks up.
Can I hit a salt real quick?
Yeah, here you go. Here. All right, let's see if he answers. Let's see if this is going to go through.
Let's get that out of there.
Silk. Oh, nice.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Conrad. Chris from the Balm Hole here. We got Red and Sean in studio. Wanted to... Yeah, you're live here.
Okay.
Pops.
Hey. So this is what it's come to with you, huh, Red? I gotta talk to you via a podcast.
Told
We
you
can't
this.
get you on the phone.
It's the only time he answers.
Huh?
Yeah, I
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he's already on your shit list. I love that. So keeping it moving here, I think there's a great story along when you kind of had to talk some sense into Red. Malachi was telling me about this when you had to sit him down at Starbucks and really have some good words with him. Would you mind telling that story?
Sure. So, I mean, like a little context, though. It's, we have a bunch of people at our house for Christmas. There's probably 25 people. Red is having a lot of fun. I think he just got a new Skidoo 850 Summit or some crap like that. And he wanted to go ride that thing. And I'm like, trying to get him, he's 17 at the time. I'm trying to get him to understand, the gravity of what he's got in front of him and, how big the Olympics are. And he's like, Dad, the Olympics, that's nothing. I don't know what that is, and I'm like, and I had to explain to him how big it is. And I, telling him that, all my older guys, 1 through 5 pretty much saw some of the Olympics, but they didn't see it the way I saw the Olympics. Like, there was literally 3 channels on TV back when I was that age, and the Olympics were come around every 4 years, and you got 17 straight days of watching Olympics, and it was your world kind of stopped. And Red grew up in an era of the smartphone, internet. He could pull up videos of snowboarding whenever he wanted. I had to wait for the Saturday afternoon Wide World of Sports to see a half hour of winter sports kind of thing. So he was saying he wanted to go sledding, and I'm just like, okay, well, let's just go get away from the house and we'll go down to Starbucks and have a coffee and just try to talk sense to him. So as a seasoned father, I got I've already been through this 5 times with 5 other kids. Red's number 6. He's the 5th boy. Boys, their physical body develops faster than their brain. Their brain doesn't fully develop until I mean, some of my guys, I don't think they're fully developed, and they're in their 30s. So I had to talk a little sense into them and say, this is a big deal. It could be life changing. You're doing. I mean, you're a long shot to win it, but just go to this. Maybe practice a little bit. Go to Snowmass and do that last contest, and try to do well, and you just go for it and see what happens. And as it turned out, he took my advice, and he stayed home and practiced up at Copper and all that, and Woodward and that, and it all went well. And I think I don't know, Red, you can say, was it worth it to put that little extra time in, and now you go sledding all the time?
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. Dad, what are you doing? Your mom out on the hike right now? You're breathing.
Yeah, so I'm actually going downhill too, and I'm still breathing heavy. But I've been at sea level for the last month, and there's only a 3rd day back up at 9,000 feet. So I'm looking for some oxygen, yes.
So let me ask you this. When he won the Olympics, did you look down and you say, I told you so? Did you let him know?
No, not at all.
That?
No. Hell no. That was, I was so happy for him that he, did that. And, he's got so Red's he's basically a people pleaser. I mean, he wants people to be happy with him. And, if you give him good reasons, he'll, think about it, and he makes his own decisions. So, yeah.
I love that. This is a great topic with Red. I know he's a good kid. He's a good kid. He stays on a good path. But there's got to be times when you've got to be just pissed off at him. Like, anything coming to mind?
I mean, there's all kinds of distractions for him. I mean, one of the things that bothers me a lot is it's a great life. Don't get me wrong, and I want him to have that life. But idle time for a 24-year-old man where he only has like a couple events to do the week, and then he's got like another 40 hours of nothing doing, So it's like, get out and go do something. And he's actually pretty good about it. Other guys, can be a little more complacent. But Red's got a lot of energy.
Yeah. Do you think his brain is fully developed yet, or where are we at with that?
No. He's actually more mature than some of his older brothers, I think. But all in all, yeah, he still has some ways to go.
End of the story, though. I was very happy on that Starbucks meeting. That definitely shaped a lot of my career, I would say. So I do really appreciate my mom and my dad doing that. But yeah,
you probably don't have an appreciation for it. Our house was like fucking chaos.
You don't
There was
understand
people-
our Christmas. Our holidays are like my dad. I don't see my dad for like 3 days at a time. He goes and hides under a rock. It feels
Yeah,
like at the property.
I got a shed out in the backyard, and I go hide there.
Yeah,
Let's go hang out in the shed.
We only got like a 2,000 square foot house. And I got 25 people in there. You know? It's like, and it's like a big party, and we expose all this, and it's like, come on, man, we're going down to Starbucks and we're gonna have a couple words.
no, it was nice. I was really at that point. I was really ready to clock into the whole filming world. Which
Well,
you
I
can
mean,
do both worlds.
as Rad will tell you, I mean, it's a lot on your brain and your mind, and it's a lot of pressure, and you need to have releases from it. With all that, competition and stuff. So it's a balance, just like everything else. You need to have some, summertime out golfing, surfing, that kind of thing, and just let your brain, check out for a little bit. But that wasn't the time to be doing it.
I got a question. We've talked a lot about Red's Olympic experience and whatnot on the show, but we haven't got it from your end. It looked like you guys were out there having a good time, maybe deleting a few cans. Looks like you guys were fully enjoying your experience.
Well, again, I mean, so when I grew up, Olympics was huge. I didn't know anyone that went to the Olympics to even view it, let alone be in it. So when Red got to go, like, we went apeshit. Like, we had 20 people over there in South Korea, and that was right when North Korea was doing all the threats and stuff. So it was like, we're going. There ain't no stopping us, and it was just, there was no expectations. It was just having fun, and we had all my boys and all my girls and the whole family, plus nieces and nephews and that kind of thing. So it was fun.
How are we feeling going into this next Olympics? How are we feeling about Red? How's the kid looking?
I think last season he had a great season. I'm pretty. I think he'll tell you that too. He's pretty happy with it. I think he had some really strong, big airs in that, and he's riding with confidence. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So he looks
Thanks,
good.
Pops. Appreciate that.
No, I know. I mean, we talked about it. You had great season last season. So yeah.
We had fun. We had fun last season. My parents have started to travel with me during the contest circuit. It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, that's been really fun, and we're looking forward to going to Europe hopefully in another 18 months or so. So.
Yeah.
We went up to Edmonton for the big air up there. We just kind of bounced around with them. Went to Locks last year. It was the first time at Locks for me. It was awesome. Good. It was all good.
All right, Conrad. Well, thanks so much for taking the time while you're walking down a hill and on your way to the shed, sounds like.
Yeah.
So. No, we're out enjoying the fall foliage here. It's fire right now. I mean, it's 60 degrees, sun, leaves are really red and yellow and all that. So,
red and yellow?
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, it's stunning. I'm down on the Blue River right now.
Dad. Red and jeez.
No, red. The colors of the leaves are.
I thought you said rad.
What's up, Jeffrey? No, not red. No, red.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you, Conrad. Thanks for taking the time and chatting with us. That was awesome.
All right, yeah, good to hear from you, Red.
Yeah, good to hear from you too, Dad. I'll call you after this. Don't put me on like that. Yeah, whatever. Love you, Pops.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for calling.
Later. That was fantastic.
My dad is he's like, literally every time he'll call me, I'll miss one phone call, I'll hear about it for a year straight. Literally a year straight. I'm like, come on, man. I sent you a text right after it, dog.
Dude, I will say, Gerard hospitality, top tier. It's insane. They're really good people. Really good people. And I've been around during the holidays, and it is actually chaos. And Jen and Conrad just make it so dialed as a guest. Most of the time, I'm like, I shouldn't even be here. I feel like an intruder because of how chaotic it is, and they do not make me feel like an intruder. They're, great people, and they insane hospitality, and just sort of make you feel like the family. So
yeah, my parents run a great program there. It's really fun. We have so many family members, and it's like once my brother started having kids and all this, now it's just like a kid's house and all. It's wild. It's a lot of fun and a lot of excitement, good energy going around. And yeah, my dad will hide out for a little bit. My mom is loving every bit of it, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Killer. Silk, maybe we could hit that second Patreon question.
Yeah, let's do it. This question is from Daniel Jensen. Red, as a well-documented all-time hater of the state of Utah, how much does it kill you each time you get dragged back into the bomb hole booth?
It kills me. It kills me. No, this is probably my funnest. The funnest part of coming to Utah is getting in this booth. But yeah, I don't know, man. Salt Lake City, Utah. It just doesn't do it for me. It's not for me.
Can you elaborate, please?
Too much? I don't know. I mean, we travel so much doing snowboard stuff, seeing snowboard people, and then you go to a city and you feel like 80% of it's all snowboarders, and like, I'm good. I think 3 days is enough here for me. But don't get me wrong. I don't mind coming here and straight up bantering about snowboarding at all.
Good topic. Bond, you got anything to add? You're a resident, technically.
I'm staying out of this one, dude.
Good. Your friends.
Oregon forever.
Last time you snapped on Utah, it was good. I think you covered it on that group
I
chat.
snapped on Utah?
Yeah, I feel like you some angst came out of you.
Oh, dude. Well, I just feel like every time you like bring up snowboard, they're like, how about Utah? And you're like, how about Colorado? It's pretty similar.
Well, dude.
That's debatable.
Let's not put Colorado in the mix. That's just a really tough place to go as well.
Yeah, such a tough plot.
I mean, they're both good.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. But I mean, I think if you actually want to find some cool shit, you maybe find yourself in Oregon. Find yourself in Washington, PNW. That's maybe where you find yourself.
What, windsurfing?
No, windsurfing died, dude. It's kiting, dude. I'll put you. I'll teach you in 3 days. You know more about it.
I got a question. You ever gone cliff jumping with Bond? Because he seems like he'd be a weapon. He'd be a weapon.
I used to cliff jump till my ears got fogged.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've never done cliff jumping with Bond.
You used to be a weapon, though.
I used to be.
Yeah.
I'll still go, for sure. I put in earplugs.
Okay.
That's honestly been my whole downfall with water. I love water. My ears hate it.
Going surfing with him sucks so much. You're like trying to say something to him. Nothing.
Nothing.
You're basically surfing solo.
Because you slapped him in the ear, though. That's why.
No, but I run.
Don't ask for something you're not prepared for.
Boy, dude, I've probably had like 8 ear infections. It's not like I run earplugs, and you can't. Yeah, I'm locked in. If I'm in the lineup, I'm surfing, and that is about what's going on.
Surfing, you ain't talking.
No.
All right, we're going to interrupt this programming to talk about one of my favorite brands, Autumn Headwear. Their motto is Style Matters, and it shows. If you look at their team, they got some of the most stylish riders on the planet. It's rider-owned. This is a brand owned by snowboarders. Brad Alband is the genius behind it. He's done great work over there. And they have great fits on the beanies, most importantly. Here at the Bomb Hole, we love what we call a deep resi fit, the reservoir tip, so to speak. So they have the surplus fit, which is kind of a resi. They have the shorty fit, which is shallow. You might catch Silk D wearing one of those. They also have the simple fit that's right in between. And I was just on their website. The apparel is impeccable. So great company, rider owned. If you're interested in getting a great beanie this winter, head on over to autumnheadwear.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. And keep that dome piece looking great with an autumn bonnet.
Are you like me? You using your goggles from 6 seasons ago? A little outdated, don't fit that well anymore, a little scratched up. Well, might be time for an upgrade. And we at the Bomb Hole highly recommend that you consider the Oakley Line Miner Pro. It features Oakley's patented switch lock technology, which utilizes 6 strategically placed magnets around the frame, paired with 2 mechanical locks for a quick and secure lens change. With a 2-lens bundle, riders can effortlessly swap their lenses out to adapt to the changing weather and lighting conditions, making the mountain adventures go on longer. So if you're in the market for a new pair of goggles, check out the Line Miner Pro or any other incredible Oakley product at oakley.com.
All right, let's take a quick break and talk about Yeti. They got a new cooler. It's called the Roadie 15, and it's perfect for all of your essentials. You can throw it on the front of an ATV, throw it on your paddleboard or a kayak. It's also really light. You can carry it down to your beach, or you can go fishing with it. Great cooler, weighs less than 10 pounds empty. There's also ample space to fit a 12-pack of standard cans with ice. So those bevs stay cold wherever your adventure takes you. They got all types of technology in this thing too. They got the new double duty strap, which means you don't need to use your hands. You can throw it over your shoulder. They got good handles. They got the non-slip feet for the back of your truck. They got a drain plug if you want to hose the thing out if it gets nasty. They got tie-down slots. And the best thing about the Yetis is the permafrost insulation. So they're the best coolers. They keep those bevs ice cold on a hot summer day. Check out their website if you want to learn more about the Yeti Roadie 15. I got a question, Red. Have you seen Bond? I feel like it always ends up kind of like almost shirtless at the end of the night, or his shirt's ripped.
Oh yeah,
It's not on purpose at all.
Yeah, or the neck gets long.
No, that's not even.
You're always wet. He's always like really wet,
not
like
up to me.
covered in like liquid.
yeah. The guy changed.
No.
He goes from honestly, this is every time we're going out drinking. He's like, let's go have 1 to 2 beers. I'm like, all right, yeah, maybe 1 to 2 beers, maybe 5. 3 beers get sunk. All of a sudden, his shirt's is completely in half. It turns around pretty quick.
Yep.
All right, can we talk about?
But it's
this,
good
dude?
shit. It's no.
What's going on with the garments? Like
No,
low
it's not
quality
bad
shit.
garments. What happened was one time in Sauce Fe, I maybe had a night, and then my shirt, because when things get wet, they start to droop, and my shirt ended up by my knees.
Yes.
That's what happened. And
Yeah.
I'm going around. I had a big one, and anyways, and then it became like kind of a thing. Is that like
Red Bull Recharge? Same deal. Or you were tarps off too.
that
there.
happened. No,
you were
well,
very
no.
You're that was beater season.
That was beater season.
Yep.
But that's still a tarp.
That was
So
a tarp.
was
yeah.
still on.
Tarp was on.
But
yeah.
then people were like, "Oh, it's funny, like rip shirts off this dude," and then they would rip it off, and then I had 3 shirts ripped off that night.
I can even say the Red Bull. What was the thing we did in Oregon there? What was that called?
Dumbass event.
Oh, landing gear.
Landing gear. You had a bit of a night one night. I feel like, and there was
Each night.
or no, you were on top of somebody's head at the food cart place. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Remember it was Oliver with the Oli, the photographer, who was wearing a trench coat and you were on his shoulders. It's kind of a long shirt scenario.
Oh, I do remember that.
I feel like that might have resulted
Yeah.
in a long, wet shirt. Well, anyway, we're getting in the weeds. We'll keep it
Anyways.
moving. Let's keep it moving.
Anyways,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. Sorry, guys. All right, let's do hot takes. Rapid fire here, roughly. Quick elaboration. But who's your guys' it may have changed from the last time you've been on the show. So both of you guys, your GOAT, your greatest of all time, both male and female. Who you got? Red?
Male. I'll start there. It changes. It could change in my head in the next 30 seconds. But right now, Kazu is kind of my GOAT. And then female, kind of hard not to choose like a Kelly Clark, honestly. I'm going Kelly Clark on this one.
Love that. Bond?
Yeah, I was gonna go Stale male. That's just the person that I looked up to. I feel like riding like as a Grom, and still now. I think that his shit is super cool, and just the way that he's done things, his style, everything about it is awesome, and his whole career is admirable. And then I would say female. I think I said it last time, Jamie. I just feel like from a domination standpoint, she dominated.
Okay, fantastic. All right, we asked this one. It's a really dog shit question. Snowboarding art form, sport, or lifestyle?
Wait, art or sport?
Art, sport, lifestyle. 3 options.
I'm saying lifestyle.
I guess I'll go with sport, honestly. I think it's more of a sport. There's seasons to it and stuff. I don't know.
I'd say it's more of a lifestyle just because I feel like my whole world kind of revolves around it.
That's a good point.
Is that like everything? Like, I try to not skateboard as much as I get close to the season because I'm trying to snowboard.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to get, or something like that,
Right.
like my whole life revolves around snowboarding. So then it becomes a lifestyle. And all my friends, right, are a part of snowboarding, which then kind of captures sport and art.
Reggie lives in Oside, clocks out.
Right. And I'll go
Clocks
down
back
there
in.
and clock out, and it is fun. But it's still kind of part. I feel like it's still like we're hanging out with Riley Nickerson. Like we're hanging out with boarders.
Yeah, but that's just that's a
Well, that's
homie, you know.
That's a homie, but it's also kind of lifestyle that has brought you there.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. Who's the most one of the most underrated riders that comes to mind for you guys? Underrated.
One that comes off my head just because we've been talking about him lately is Brandon Davis right now.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing.
There's a couple of them though.
Yeah. Brandon Davis, 100%. I just don't think he's talked about enough.
Agreed.
In from a snowboarding standpoint, I don't think he's talked about enough. I think that he has great sponsors, but I think from like an overwhelming like talked about within the snowboard community as an ATV, big ass lines, filming the streets, backcountry kickers.
jumps.
Like he has it all, and he's an incredible snowboarder.
Yeah.
Great answer. Worst trick.
Front 350.
Yeah, it's fair.
No hesitation on that.
Hate that thing.
Come on, Bond. Give us something good here.
I think it's like I think it's literally doing a calf spin and fucking. But I do it. But I just think it's whack.
like
worst
pre-spinning?
trick, worst trick
Pre-spin.
is a pre-spin calf spin. And
Yeah.
and I am guilty as charged, dude. But it is so lame that you can't. Like, I can't do it, but that people can't really do it that well. Like where they're like Jay Canner has a pretty good cab takeoff where it is like doing it front side.
Yeah.
But most people you watch do a cab spin are going.
Yeah, they're taking off at 90.
The switchboard.
They're taking off.
underflip.
They're like getting away with. They're getting away with ollie off their back foot like a foot, like a backside spin.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am the same guy, but that's the worst. That's the worst trick is like doing something like that.
Yeah.
Bad fundies. Next question. Steel or powder?
Powder.
Powder.
Fuck, I hate when people get that one wrong.
Just makes sense.
Who's got your favorite style ever?
Favorite style ever?
Just favorite style.
Favorite
Fuck it.
style?
I'm going Stale.
Style?
I just feel like from the range of things, I've tried to model some tricks off of him. It's hard, but I feel like that's kind of what I looked up to as a Grom. I feel like that's kind of why I looked up to him, is that style aspect. And doing cool shit at the same time.
I'm going to stick to when I was 16, who I liked a lot. It's this guy named from Sweden, Nicholas Mattsson.
Oh.
Like his style.
Sick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He rides Mickelbang board.
Yeah.
Tall ass dude, can ride switch better than regular.
Right.
Insane.
Favorite method?
Rock crouch.
Oh.
Love that answer. That was my answer too.
Dude, favorite method. You might catch me at a pickle here now. Curtis.
Kurt Dog. Wow. Favorite snowboard video?
9191.
Never watched one.
I've never watched it.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to answer that? I've never watched them. I've never watched them.
Artifly.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite board graphic? One that sticks out.
There's this one DK one.
The
And
coffin?
I rode that board. It was like a
GNU one?
It was like a new one that I rode when I was coming up, and it was like it was green and it had like a cat and this other thing. It was my favorite one. But
Okay.
DK GNU. It must have been 2010 to 2012. I think it was 2012.
For me, it's the Fat Gabe Pro model because Ben did it, and I love Ben's
That is
artwork.
a sick one, yeah.
It's a great freaking answer. Okay, if you go heliboarding, 3 people in the heli, just good times. I want to provide a little context. Recently, Kevin Backstrom said Charlie Sheen would go in the heli with him. Young Dolly said Mike Tyson would go with him. You can pick your friends as well, but those were some of my favorite answers. Going heliboarding, 3 people. Who's going in there with you? It's going to be a good time, good laughs, good powder.
I'm probably going to go Brick, Red, B-Ferg.
Ooh, It's gonna be some heat.
Yeah,
That's about. I feel like that'd
I
be
like that.
an insanely fun sesh.
Yeah,
be a good time.
That'd be sick. Mine will be my brother Malachi. Our coach Dave Reynolds. He'd be incredible.
That's a sick one.
And Ryan McDermott.
Ooh,
Oh,
Fast
that's a
board.
heater.
I don't want
excited to
to.
be there.
I'm not trying to go into heli and trying to compete with anyone. Just,
I'm not there to compete.
you go into heli with Brock and Ben. You're competing.
I don't think I'm competing. I think that's just gonna be good time, just fucking boarding.
Yeah.
All right,
I think that's good people,
dream
No, they
sponsor.
aren't.
but I like your answer.
Dream sponsor. Doesn't have to be snowboard related. Anything in the world. Slim Jim, for example, that you mentioned earlier, could be a sponsor.
For me, cuties.
The oranges?
Orange. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Those things are pretty good.
Mine would either be grind line skate parks or
Damn, that's a good answer.
Team Payne skate parks.
That's actually a really good answer. They can just build you a
Just
park.
build whatever I want in my yard to be insane.
That's fucking good. Silk, that's pretty good. Cuties is not
that good.
I'd say that's I'm gonna say that's one of the worst ones we've gotten, just because it's like it's a very cheap item. When you got everything in the world.
Yeah, it was a
Cutie's
terrible one.
crazy.
Now that I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
That's just nuts.
but I mean, you look good on the nose, cutie sticker, all good. Okay, first try, go to step down in the backcountry. Gotta land. You gotta step down. Hog.
Switchback 5.
Yeah, Switchback 5 is up there for me, too. Gotta land, though.
Front
7.
10.
Back
I'm
7.
thinking front 14 with tail grab.
Step down.
Yeah, it'd be so easy.
Back 18 for me. but
Yeah, no, with melon. I think with melon.
All right, last question. Worst trend.
I think you had the best one. For people putting out dog shit and expecting to get paid. I think that's lame. I think that, I don't know, like we were talking about earlier, getting gnarly and just the respect of gnarliness, no matter where you are in the snowboard atmosphere of comp, backcountry, big ass line in AK, street, just when you aren't getting gnarly, I think it's kind of lame when you're not and there are things doing style, and I'm not that is part of it as well.
I'm going to get a lot of people here. Maybe a lot of people angry, maybe not. But too baggy of pants.
Okay, I like that. It's a good take.
Eat it.
Bring it in. Those are good answers, guys. I like it. All right, Silk, let's get into another Patreon question before we get out of here. We got one from the quad one. Why don't you tee that up?
The quad one. Where is that?
It's Benjamin Weissner.
Benjamin
Ben
Wise.
Wise.
Oh, Ben Wise.
Ben.
There we go. Ben wants to know quads, cool or not cool?
Very cool, dude.
Are we talking about four-wheelers?
We were
Or?
ripping them on your
Yeah, you got a four-wheeler.
earlier.
Yeah, no. Four-wheelers are sick as hell.
Very low.
You guys are
Those
quad
things
guys.
Go crazy, dude.
No, I'm definitely cool.
Are we talking about quad corks or four-wheelers?
Let's leave it at.
Let's go. I'll just say, I just with the corks. I don't think it's a. If you want to put your life on the line, dude, do it. Do it for snowboarding,
Right.
whatever. I mean, I'm backing it.
Don't do it for snowboarding. Do it for yourself.
I'm just thinking, how could you not back? Yeah, that's
Quad-
actually a better point.
Quad solo sesh, no camera for the soul.
So if
Never
you want to
going-
do it, then do it, but
Never.
don't do it.
That
If you're trying.
that is never going to happen.
Dude, you were talking about skating a vert ramp by yourself earlier. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what happens if you hang up and die? Like you're just a
You
dead
wake
carcass
up
in
and
the
you're-
bottom of the flat bottom?
Then my poor mom finds me. That's a problem. But I don't know. My dad, we chose to make that vert ramp in my yard, and not a lot of people like skating vert. You just come to realize it's just kind of you, and you have Rage Against the Machine, and it's you and Rage Against the Machine, and that's it. But
I think quad courts are lame. I'll
lame?
put it out there. I think it's lame, yeah. But if
I
you
don't-
want to do them, I got no problem with that. But I do, in my personal opinion, I think they're lame.
I don't think it's lame. I think it's gnarly. I think it's a crazy ass thing to do. I mean, like with Takeru at the X Games, we all saw it. It was
straight gladiator.
It was, but like, how do you not watch that movie? You know, like, it's insane to watch. Like as a viewer, it's nuts.
Yeah, but you're
As a
more just
writer-
watching it and you're just like, holy shit! I hope he lands
hope
this.
he's
When
all
you
good.
when he lands it though, what do you think of that? You're just like,
I lose it. I lose my mind.
Yeah, I went nuts when he landed.
It was nuts.
yeah.
It was out of control. Like it was out of control. Like,
Unsafe.
It
It was unsafe.
And he he like broke his shoulder and like it was the best viewing spectacle ever. Like it was actually nuts. Like so I guess for me, quad cork, cool. Let's not normalize it. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
But respect for doing one. That is
I can get behind
so
that.
gnarly.
Yeah.
If you go into Quince, dude, then you can go to hell.
What?
Quince?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you're probably
Oh
going.
yeah,
to
where are
hell.
we at with 5 corks?
Well, I don't,
Sean.
I don't think that'll be a good time for you. I think you might get away with 1, 2, maybe 3. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, your snap has to be like just every time your snap's perfect. Oh yeah, dude. Every time my snap is perfect. No, not every time. Not every time.
You think who's going to be the first Quint? Who's going Quint? Steamer?
No.
No.
I don't think you'll ever see. Well, we're
I don't
on
think
4
you'll
right
see
now.
it.
I really don't think right now you're ever gonna see
You will never see
5
it.
flips.
You won't see it until you're life support probably. I'm
know-
hoping.
What about the 5 back flips though? Not spins.
I think that's more impossible than the spins.
Mm.
Because I think there's controls. There's
Right.
like a controlled spin that you can do with 5
Right.
flips.
But could you imagine?
I was
It'd be
saying-
epic.
yeah.
I would respect a quad. I would respect a quad. Dude, that'd be
Because
fun.
people done triple backs, right?
How much you
Yeah.
put on a quad backy?
Quad backy.
How much did you put on that?
Oof, we could get GoFundMe going. I'm sure we get that thing up 50K, probably something like that.
sure.
50 G's.
You think
I'll
he
try.
could go
This
quad?
is
I'll
a
go.
long talk, honestly.
So
like 2
okay, if
years
we
ago-
can get a
This has
GoFundMe up
been
to
a
50,
talk.
you're going quad. You need the right jump.
Oh, I'll do front quad for 50K for sure.
Wow,
I'll try it.
dude, imagine the G out on the takeoff, leg buckle. Just
The problem is you're not
Right,
going to want to
the
bet
problem
on
is
this because
gonna-
he will do it. Like if there's
And the problem
50,000
is-
on the line, he will do it.
It won't be G.
We'll do it next week when we're in
It won't be
Dubai.
G. We
He's
talked
too
about-
stacked.
We
He's too
talked
stacked.
about this. We
He's too
talked about this
stacked.
boom, pop,
Yep.
then grab, and then go.
he stays stacked over the board. He's good.
He hopes to.
Well, you're gonna start to turn one way or the other at a certain point.
And I
in
have to
time.
land it. I have to land it.
You gotta land it. Yeah, you gotta fucking land it. What are you talking about? You don't just try
I'm
tricks.
just saying. I'm just worried
What the
that.
fuck is
No,
that?
I know. I'm just like feel like I would land like stacked and do the fucking khaki.
Who's the
and
guy
then break
that
my board?
always was at the quarter pipe challenges doing the triple
Teddy
back-
Raw.
Teddy Raw.
Teddy Raw, legend,
Yeah.
legend,
Yeah,
man.
she was a triple back, original trier of the triple back, maybe. Could be wrong about that.
Could have been.
But yeah, speaking of which, we are putting up, I'm not sure the exact amount of money. It'll be probably public. We're still figuring out the kinks. But first, split board double cork, we want to see. I think, Bon, you are a huge contender for this. We're going to put up some money. We haven't, Jules knows the finances. She green lights me on this type of stuff. But basically, the parameters are you have to split board to a backcountry jump. You can't get there via sled access. You have to build the backcountry jump, and you have to do a double cork. You have to grab. You have to land, and I think you have to have your pack on. We got to get clear on that.
I think you should.
You
With
gotta
your
have your
skins.
pack
I think
on.
you should.
Skins and poles in the bag.
Because you almost want it to be like you were just found a jump.
Yeah.
That's kind of where like the
Yeah.
lore of that is kind of like you skin somewhere and whoa, there's a jump. You know, that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
And then you're like as if you knew there you were gonna
Check
go
out
build
this
a-
booter, man.
No, because if
this
you
thing's butter.
because if you knew you were
To
gonna
show that
build
you're
a
actually
jump.
on a leisurely cruise and you stumbled across as part of the criteria.
Because if you knew there's gonna be a jump, you're bringing your regular board. And you're like, let's have a session. But if you didn't know, whoa.
Here's
I'm just cruising down.
Yep.
Massive booter.
Has there been
front
a
10 double cork?
complete natty back 10? Or not back 10,
that's
but
a
natty
good one.
double
Natty-
cork?
That's a good question. Not that I know of. Full natty? I don't think so.
Full natty? Like maybe heli day, you catch a good wind lip,
Right.
you go at it.
I'd like to see that. See, this is what I like
Now
to see.
we're chasing that.
These are the progressions that I'd like to see. Because splitboarding, what happens is everybody straps on a splitboard and they just wiggle. And I'm guilty of that too because it's like not as high performance. But
Kinda what it gives you.
I want to see some freaking big freestyle splitboarders out there. Bjorn's pushing it. Garrett Warnick. Chad tried a double. He tried a cab double underflip.
But the problem is that you're talking about a narrative that like it hasn't been pushed for a reason because it's shit.
Not good on hardpack. They're not good on, which is a cheese wedge is hardpack.
Right.
Just makes it fun. So
That
Bon,
would honestly. What if you did?
Bon, if I was a betting man, I would bet on you to do it. I've seen you double cork like
Me
a
and
10-foot jump.
Me and Red did talk about it. If you were gonna do it, it'd probably have to be like a front 10 double cork because like on a back 10 you're gonna add more edge because you're on your toes and your board's gonna separate and shit. But on a front 10 double cork, you can kind of just snap.
You
tail.
can take off your tail completely.
and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
You
that's
flip it.
Yeah.
Stay more flat base.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But
it's hard to do
it can't
with
be a 900 like the double backflip
No.
180. Those ones don't like
I don't think that
switch
should
double
count.
backflip 180. That doesn't count. Like it's got to be full 1080.
I think it has to be a 1080 just to make sure those miscellaneous, and then you don't have to judge. You don't have to judge it, but it has to be a double cork.
What about double dip? I think double dip's okay.
Yeah,
Like the head cork.
I disagree with him here on this whole double cork thing, especially on the split board.
He's
You're
a,
like,
he's
you
a
know,
flipper.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can cheat. You can get a 1080 done with a double cork. It's super easy. I mean, front 10, you can do that so easy. You know, pop off your tail, 2 flips, you're done.
It's easy.
But like a flat back 10 should be in there for that, or a flat switchback 10, or a cab 10.
If somebody does a flat switchback 10 on an aggressively directional fucking
switch
split
a
board,
switch on a split board.
yeah, that's just a whole different category.
I mean, yeah, that's the kitchen sink, dude.
That's the whole. We might have to sell the bomb hole to pay that
Right.
person
I think
because
you
that's
might
just
have to do that. 'Cause
unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you showed up, a better challenge would be skin up to the lane at Timberline. Don't get caught.
Timberline, of course.
Don't get caught because you don't have a pass. That's why you skinned up there.
Yep.
And then put it together and do a flat back 10 on the kicker.
That's more dangerous, dude. Those things are like so sketchy on hard pack.
I feel like we're looking for danger here. Can we be honest?
Yeah.
We're looking for danger.
We're really looking
you're
to push-
You're asking about a double 1080.
Yeah, but it's
on a
soft.
split
You can land on your head, you know. Allegedly, if it's deep enough. We are not promoting this, but if you want to, you can do it at your own risk.
Take the right Avi
Yeah.
courses to get out there.
Well, if you're in Colorado, you don't need to worry that much because it's so flat. It's just like
Yeah.
you're kind of chilling.
All right.
Don't get me started. What are we, 2 hours and 45 minutes into this? You want to make it another?
Okay, we're really fucking grenading, boys. I think we should probably wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
You guys have fun?
I had a
was an
blast, dude.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Had a
Way
really-
better than I expected it to go, honestly.
Cool.
That was a really good time.
Yeah.
Glad we came in here.
Bon, I was thinking that to make it fun, you could do the sign off for us. Like, thanks for listening to the show and all that stuff.
All right. Bon here. Thanks for listening to the show. We have Silk on the producing. We got Grandies on the mic, holding it down for snowboarding. We got Red Gerard, the phenom, hitting birdies putts when he needs it. And I am Bon, guest 1, signing off. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Great show, everybody. Thank you. Bon, that was a great sign off. Right on.